You're watching the Yes Network, the home of champions.
In the shadows of Yankee Stadium, they're thinking about basketball. Game 7 of the NBA Finals between the Lakers and the Celtics, but that's later on. We got a baseball game for you under threatening skies here at Yankee Stadium. And Robinson Cano's a big part of it. He can sell magazines, and he can win games. Tonight, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the defending world champion New York Yankees against the defending National League champion Philadelphia Phillies in the rubber game of a 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. That's Paul O'Neill. That's Al Leiter. I'm Michael Kay. This series is tied at a game apiece. Last night, the Yankees lost 6-3, and they lost to Jamie Moyer, who now is the oldest pitcher to ever beat the Yankees. And yesterday, he was dealing, Paul.
47 years old. He got a lead early, and we talked about it. But lead or not, you have to make good pitches. And if you'll watch this roll here, nothing's across the middle of the plate. He cut the ball away. He cut the ball in. He changed speeds. Again, it was a big, big outing for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Everything he did well. Just 8 innings, and then he turned it over to the bullpen. A great outing by Jamie Moyer. Now let's take a look at tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup. Kyle Kendrick's going to go for the Phillies 3-2 with a 4.80. Andy Pettit has been magnificent this year. 8-1, 2.46. And Al, his last time out against the Astros, he looked very good.
He did. He got into the 8th inning, Michael. And really, I think overall, this has been one of his best years ever. At 38 years old, you talk about veteran guy. He's so comfortable. His delivery is sound. He's healthy. He's using both sides of the plate. I think his cutter's a little better. He gets in the counts with a backdoor little curveball. He's pitching as good as ever. Certainly all-star caliber as he's shown so far this year. Very impressive, Andy Pettit.
I'll tell you what, Al, people forget how great he was in the postseason last year. 4-0, 3.52. He won the final game of the World Series. He was 2-0 against these very same Phillies in the Fall Classic last year. Well, it's been hard to keep your eyes off of that man, Robinson Cano. Why is he this good? Paul O'Neill's going to try to explain it next on segment 2 on Yes. Percentage, slugging percentage, RBIs, runs scored, all of them at least in the top 7. Just an amazing start to the season for him. That's Paul O'Neill. I'm Michael Kay, and Al Leiter will rejoin us in just a moment. Cano has been an amazing player, a home run yesterday off Moyer. The bottom line is you've seen him since the very beginning. Has he changed at all?
Well, I think he swings at better pitches. I think he's matured as a hitter. I think he's gotten stronger, and that's always a great thing as you get older. You see this ball he hit last night. I mean, you haven't seen a ball in the new Yankee Stadium travel like that, but he uses left field, he uses up the middle, and he's comfortable, he's confident. He's just become an all-around great player, and I still don't think he gets enough credit for his defense.
Well, there you have it. Robinson Cano just having an MVP-type season. It's been a fun series so far between the Yankees and the Phillies. A little bit of a rematch of the World Series from last year. Rubber game is coming up. Lineups, first pitch, baseball next, right here on Yes. Three reasons to go mobile. Sprint, AT&T, and T-Mobile. By McDonald's. Head to McDonald's for a refreshing large sweet tea on the dollar menu. Price and participation may vary. And by Honda. Look for money-saving leases and low financing at your Honda dealer. Sky doesn't look too pretty here at Yankee Stadium. Threatening skies ahead and above. Lights are on already here at the stadium. Crowd filing in for the rubber game of this three-game set between the Yankees and the Phillies. Andy Pettitte is taking his warm-ups. And let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup that he is going to face. And it's brought to you by Lexus. Shane Victorino, the center fielder, leads off. Batting second and playing second, Chase Utley. Placido Polanco, the third baseman, hits third. Cleaning up and playing first, Ryan Howard. Jason Worth and right will bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing left field, Raul Ibanez. Ben Francisco, the DH, hits seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Carlos Ruiz. And Wilson Valdez, the shortstop, is going to bat ninth.
And be Pettitte on the mound, 38 years old, just turned 38 to be making his 13th start of the year. What a year Andy Pettitte's had so far. Fantastic record, 8-1, the 2.46 ERA is putting him in the tops of the league. Let's take a look at the Jeep Pitchers Scatter Report. Well, I mentioned about the year. Career year, 8 wins in the 2.46 ERA. 2.46 ERA is the lowest through in his career, first 12 starts. 101 games over 500, recorded his 200th Yankee win as a Yankee. Better get him early. How about this? 337 first pass around, 188 second time, and 163. Normally it's flip-flop. A guy gets a little tired later in the game. And then Midsummer Classic, I mentioned, not only is the All-Star season, I mean, you look at some of the other guys that are doing well, David Price, Phil Hughes, certainly deserving of maybe even a start.
Well, we're ready for baseball here at the stadium. Victorino digs in. Andy Pettitte is ready.
That's quite a scouting report we just went through, huh?
Let's do it. And the pitch is a strike, and we are underway. So you know everything about Pettitte now. And you played with him, and you just learned stuff.
I just learned stuff. Yeah. You did that on your own?
You know what? Read this note once in a while. The stuff they put in front of you, just read it. I'll tell you, just looking at Andy and how comfortable he is mechanically, certainly health-wise, fun to watch.
That one is lined into center field. Stays up there for Granderson for the first out. Hey, let's check out the Yankee defense brought to you by Mercedes. We just saw Granderson in the outfield, flanking him on either side. Left field, it's Gardner. Swisher's in right. Infield, again, A-Rod's the DH today. So Pena at third, Jeter at short, Cano at second, Teixeira at first. Cervelli behind the plate. Posada has the night off, but still feeling a little tired and sore. Well, we see Granderson got a good jump, and the ball did stay up there.
I'll tell you what, there's a little indecision on an outfielder's mind, and if you saw that play from the start, he kind of hesitated. And as an outfielder, when you're reading the ball, you don't know if it's going to hang up there or if it's going to die down, and that's where you kind of hesitate. And you see Granderson saw it was going to lay up there for him. Good play.
Chase Utley hitting .260, 4 hits in his last 17 at-bats.
You see this ball, this is the replay again, and you see Granderson right there. He kind of hesitates, and that's where you get your true read as an outfielder. And I'll tell you what, it's not a real good feeling. If that ball starts diving down, you kind of get stuck in nowheresville whether you should dive or not. And as a center fielder, the only buddy that's backing you up is the Mohegan Sun people back there in the booth. So you better make a good play.
The last line of defense, Mohegan Sun.
Down on strikes, 2 away.
And so we talk about some of the Phillies really struggling, and you've noticed it early with the lefties and a good breaking ball. You see the slider often having a tough time staying on lefty slider. Talking about Utley, talking about Ibanez, talking about Howard.
Well, you know what set that up with the 2 fastballs in, and you're right, Paul. Utley, along with several of these Philly hitters, have struggled certainly during the little slump that they had since May 18th.
So in game 1, CC Sabathia, when he had his good breaking ball to some of these lefties, it looks like they are not seeing the breaking ball whatsoever.
That one is lined on a short hop to Cano. Polanco grounds out, and a 1-2-3 inning for Andy Pettit. 1 in the books, or a half of 1 in the books. Phillies go down 1-2-3. Phillies nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. Kyle Kendrick's turn. Let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup presented by Lexus. Derek Jeter, the captain, the shortstop, leads off. Batting second and playing center field, Curtis Granderson. Mark Teixeira's at first base. He'll bat third. Cleaning up and DHing, Alex Rodriguez. Robinson Cano at second base will bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing right field, Nick Swisher. Brett Gardner's in left field, batting seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Francisco Cervelli. And Ramiro Pena, the third baseman, will bat ninth.
On the mound, 25-year-old Kyle Kendrick, the 7th-round draft pick in 2003. So-so year, good and bad. He's had some really good games and some bad ones. You see that 4.8 ERA in the National League, especially pretty high. 74 hits to 69 third innings, not a good ratio. Let's take a look at the G Pitcher Scout Report. Bear down, imposing 400 on-base percentage when he lead off in innings, third highest in the National League. But when the runners get on scoring position, 1 for 12, a .083 batting average. He bears down when he has to. And on the flip-flop, he came in relief. Jamie Moyer, as good as he was yesterday, only pitched 1 inning in his last start against Boston. So his last appearance, Kyle, was actually out of the pen, 2 scoreless innings against the Red Sox. And lefty trouble. Left-handed batters, 316. Right-handers, 245.
Did you learn something about him, Paul?
Yeah, I better hit left-handed against him. I'll stay right where I am.
Jamie Moyer had a good outing yesterday, 8 innings, but then you read all the stories, and he was kind of snippy at the end of the game, didn't really feel like talking that much. Thought he'd be thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that every time he pitches a game, he's got to answer the same questions. How long is it going to go on? Is it your age? And is this? And see Derek Jeter take a seat early. But, again, it becomes monotonous to answer the same questions over and over and over.
Yeah, but you know what? Oh, well. I know what you're saying.
Kind of fun, though, isn't it?
But we've been there, right? I mean, you know, pitch as long as he had. He's the winningest active pitcher. It comes with the job.
Granderson takes a strike. Now, the interesting thing for those that don't know, and I had to cover him, Paul O'Neill was so good after bad games, and when he had a good game, he didn't want any part of the media because you were going to jinx him.
You had like Jim Leyritz and Mattingly was good.
Mattingly was great.
Coney, yeah, he was a team politician. He was real good at speaking with the press.
He wanted to. He'd call you over. The 0-2?
Yeah, but you know what, Paul? You know this, especially in New York. You need a guy or two that's the go-to guy. And whether they like it or not, it deflects a lot of stuff, especially for the guys that don't want to talk.
You were the go-to guy on the Mets, right, huh?
I was one. I mean, Johnny Franco and Robin Ventura and Todd Zeal for we had a handful, and it's important. You recognize that some of the guys that just they don't want to answer to certain things sometimes.
I thought that David Cone, really knew what he was doing when he talked to the media, because if he had the media around him, they weren't bothering the other guys, and I think he actually did that on purpose. And also was bright and really liked to talk. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts. Jeter and Granderson. Let's take a look at the Phillies defense, which really hasn't been involved. And it's brought to you by Mercedes. Ruiz has been involved. Kendrick's been involved. Everybody else has chilled so far. Ibanez, Victorino, and Worth left to right. Infield, Polanco, Valdez, Utley, and Howard third to first. Here is Mark Teixeira. And there's a strike. Kendrick's working quickly and throwing strikes. Now, Al gave you the numbers on Kendrick with the high ERA, 3-2, but in his last 8 outings, 7 starts, his ERA is 3.35. So he got roughed up early. That's a deep drive to center field. Victorino's back. He has room. He makes the play for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. We played one here at the stadium. There's no score. Phillies and the Yankees right here on Yes. Tonight's question is, which is the toughest division in the National League? You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. Your choices are 1 East, 2 Central, 3 West. I think it's the West this year.
West?
You got the Giants, you got the Dodgers.
Padres
are a surprise, and the Colorado Rockies.
The Rockies have been disappointing.
There's a strike, and they're still only 5 games out. Andy Pettit's birthday? Earlier this week, he's 38 years old now. The sands of time. The 1-1. Grounded to second from short right field. Cano makes the play.
I mean, he makes things look so easy defensively. It's kind of coming in the grass, kind of in between hop, flips it from underneath, and it looks so natural for him that you take it for granted. But we talked about it, Michael, in the pregame. It's just he does not get enough credit. And when you're leading all of baseball and hitting, people don't think about your defense. But his arm strength is just something.
I think he got ripped last year, not getting the Gold Glove. Polanco, actually, who's now a third baseman, was the second baseman. Tigers got the Gold Glove.
I think what's hurt him is something that Paul just mentioned, though. He makes it look easy. There's not that many dives because he gets there quickly standing, and he's got that, very smooth throw. It doesn't look like it's spectacular, but baseball people know it's spectacular. But they're the ones voting for it, and they didn't give it to him.
Well, he's pretty cool out there. Like, you're right. He's not diving all over the place, and because of that arm strength, as Paul says, he gets the pit balls, and it's a quick little flip throw. It's pretty cool.
The people that vote for the Gold Gloves are the coaches and the managers, and they give them a ballot, and you fill it out, usually in September. And the Rawlings people then tabulate the votes and give the Gold Gloves out.
Saw a Gold Glove play over there by the ball boy. Smile. Oh, there you go. There's on TV.
Strike 3. Worth down looking. Tom Hallion, an emphatic strike 3 call, which O'Neill would have loved.
Oh, this always makes a strikeout even worse. Look at that. Be careful, you're going to fall down back there. Ball's in off the plate. That even makes it worse. That's good.
Now that strikeout had Andy Pettit pass Ron Guidry for second place on the Yankees all-time strikeout list with 1,779. And next up is Edward Charles Whitey Ford. Most strikeouts in Yankee history. And if Andy hadn't taken that 3-year sabbatical in Houston, he'd be passing Whitey Ford for the most wins in Yankee history, and obviously be past him right now in strikeouts as well.
See that first pitch curveball that kind of buckled Ibanez, and to me that is a big difference in Andy Pettit this year. He has been so consistent day in and day out on his starts with his curveball. I mean, he's always had a good sinker, pretty good changeup, but his curveball this year to me is the pitch that has really improved.
Especially getting into the count. I agree with you, Paul. I think his cutter has been a little better. Look, when you get to, you mentioned Michael, he's 38 and he just had his birthday. There's a lot of little things that you don't admit to that kind of breaks down or aching, alien. I don't know how you were at the end where you're not going to constantly be telling him, oh, you got a little this or that. He's feeling good right now. Right. And that's not a worry or bother. I think with the curveball and also, too, the command and using all the pitches. Those 2 curveballs to work and then lock him up with the fastball in.
Popped up left field. Gardner is there. Wynn takes it just a bit. He catches it in foul territory for the final out of the second. 6 up, 6 down for Andy Pettit through 1.5. No score on Yes. Greatness in every sip and every season. Johnny Walker, proud sponsor of the Yankees. We talked about this yesterday, Paul. This is where the rhythmic two-strike clapping began. Ron Guidry's 18 strikeout, 4-hit shutout over the Angels back in 1978. And it's lasted now, let's see, that's 32 years ago.
I remember that night.
You were just a kid, though. You weren't in the organization.
No, I'm just watching on television.
WPIX.
That's right. Messer, Zerto, White.
Louisiana Lightning. He was dealing. That slider.
It's funny, you look at some of the real old-time highlights, and you look at the pictures like, that guy's got nothing. You look at Gator even then, he still looks like he's nasty. You know what I'm talking about when you watch like Cy Young?
Deadballer.
Yeah.
I think you're going before 1900. Oh, no, Gator in his time, he was 95 or better, easily. Velocity.
There's a strike on the outside corner from Kendrick. Kendrick worked a 1-2-3 first with 2 strikeouts.
You've pretty much taken a page out of Jamie Moyer's book. 2 seamers for strikes, so cutters to the lefties for strikes.
The 2-2.
Change up there.
Yeah.
And, when you're a sinker ball pitcher and then you can throw the change up with the same kind of movement, you see that ball kind of going down and into righties. You can't pick up the spin as well.
Split.
And the 3-2. Grounded to short. Valdez. A-Rod's running pretty well through first for the first out. There was some concern with that 9th inning double last night that he didn't seem like he was running that hard. He said he was fine. He just didn't want to push it. But he pushes it here on a ground ball. He wasn't going to win any match races there, but no limp or anything like that.
Did you time that?
No. Alex day-to-day on whether he's going to play third base. Still doesn't have the necessary lateral movement. And in all likelihood, he will not play third base this weekend either. You get a feeling that they'll save him for the games on the West Coast where there will not be a DH, and the only way he's going to play is at third base.
Talking to Jeter right there, asking what he has. The only history of the Yankee hitters is Mark Teixeira against Kendrick. I don't know how you felt when you didn't face a guy. There, Derek saying what's the movement out of his hand.
Yeah, I mean, a basic sinker slider guy. It's kind of what you see every day. It's a guy that has a good curveball or a slider. And it's a good time to talk to Robinson Cano's up because basically he's going to go up there and hit something hard somewhere. You see that ball kind of sinking away, and then last night you saw a ball inside. He'll turn on. Well, from a right-hander that sinks the ball, you see that ball running away. Just drive it right up the middle. I mean, absolutely textbook hitting. Day in and day out by Robbie Cano.
And he makes it look easy. That's a good pitch as far as I'm concerned. A sinker away from the right-hander. He doesn't pull off of it or roll over a ground ball or pull off and give him a lazy fly ball. So locked in. Sweet swing. Fun to watch.
And that single gave him a 10-game hitting streak. First base runner of the game here is Nick Swisher. Swisher becomes a better hitter with runners on base, sitting 296 overall with runners on base, a 379 batting average. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. 71 degrees, humidity 57%, winds out of the northwest at 12 miles per hour. The forecast is cloudy and there's a chance of rain. Pitch outside.
We'll get rid of that chance of rain, Mike.
That brings the grade down a bit?
Yeah, way down.
Count 3-0.
It's funny. All of a sudden, Kendrick looked like he had control of everything. All of a sudden, you give up a hit. You go to the stretch. The next thing you know, you're 3-0 on the next batter. For a pitching coach, it would have to drive you crazy to see a pitcher just have complete command. All of a sudden, a base hit behind in the count just immediately like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely part of it. Rich Doobie, the pitching coach there for the Phillies. There's no question about it, Paul. When a pitcher, obviously early in the game, or second inning, if you're from your windup, most starting pitchers like the rhythm and tempo from their windup as opposed to the stretch.
Runner goes, and Nick Swisher works a walk. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture, and Sound HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. So the Yankees have their first runner in scoring position, and here is Gardner, who is 16 for his last 34. That's a 471 average, and overall 317. On base percentage, over 400.
I don't know if you've noticed, talking about high definition TV.
Right.
We got 3 monitors up here.
Right.
And you both have HD, and I got this little cloudy thing in front of me.
But you know what the cloudy thing is? You can write on the cloudy thing. So we've given you the most important monitor. You have the telestrator.
That kid in school didn't have one of the electronics the other kids had, kind of peeking over to see how good the picture is. I'm not looking at you, Mike. I'm looking at your picture right now.
But this is Paul's screen.
You're still right. All you want to do is write.
1-2.
Said about the left-handed batting average against. They're seeing a lot of pitches. I don't know how you feel about it, Paul. I always thought as a pitcher, if you didn't face batters, it took a time or two through the order at least for them to kind of see pattern and rhythm. You can look on the video all you want. You got to stay in the box 60 feet away. He really doesn't have that pitch to really lock a guy up. He throws a good little tight cutter as he did the second pitch to Gardner. Most of it is away from the lefties.
You see that sinker is always middle of the plate, ending up on the outside corner, where you start as a left-handed hitter to start diving out there. And I don't know that, a lot of people throw that two-seamer in at your hip now and try to run it over the inside corner. I don't know if it's a harder pitch to throw, but, this is what he's going to have to learn to do to try to lock up lefties.
And that's the difference. Either that cutter that stays inside, true, or as you just described, start that cutter or the sinker at the front hip and have it come on the inside part of the plate. It's a lockup pitch.
39 two-strike hits for Gardner, but not there as he lost one to Ibanez for the second out.
See how he tried to throw that two-seamer in. I mean, the ball ended up in the zone, but it got all the way to the middle of the plate. Hey,
Patrick Ewing.
Look at that. Let's send one of the runners down there and see who he's got in the game tonight, huh?
Isn't that amazing? Patrick Ewing is an assistant coach with the Magic. And Game 7 of the NBA is tonight. He's at the Yankees Phillies.
He's got a good seat, too, with a lot of leg room because he needs it.
What are you saying?
I mean, I would think that if I was involved in the sport, I think I would probably be watching.
Well, wait a minute. It's 2 hours, right?
I don't know. Front row seat of the Yankee game, man.
Yeah, it's a tough call.
He'll be home at halftime anyway.
And you want to be right alongside him, right?
Well, it wouldn't be such a bad plan.
Pitch to Cervelli is a strike. Francisco 11 for 18 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. That's 6-11. What an important cog he's been for the Yankees with the injury to Posada this year. Grounded toward third. Polanco goes the short way, and that'll do it. So the Yankees waste an opportunity. No runs ahead, and 2 men left on base. We played 2, and there's no score. What's up, Patrick? Series coverage on Yes starts tomorrow at 6 with the Tri-State Ford pregame and postgame coverage after the final out of the game, which will be on My 9. Then Saturday and Sunday, get full game coverage starting at noon with batting practice today and the pregame, followed by the call at 1. The Subway Series all this weekend right here on Yes. The Mets are red hot coming into that Subway Series. Top of the third inning, no score. Mets are leading in their game against Cleveland, top of the second, 3-0. And there's a chance that the Yankees and the Mets could start play tomorrow, both of them in first place, which would be kind of neat. Add some urgency to it, all according to what happens in Tampa Bay Atlanta's game. Atlanta half game in front of the Mets. The Yankees tied with Tampa Bay. There's Cano, nice and smooth, makes the play.
Just another home play. I mean, Robbie Cano again. He just, well, you're seeing it tonight. You're seeing the best two second basemen in baseball, hitting, defensively. Look at Robbie. It ain't Cal. You like that one as a pitcher, don't you, Victor?
Yeah. I think, often you'll see guys, look at the Yes-Mo off the lip there. Obviously, it didn't hit the dirt part and then kick up. He does it as smooth as anybody to his left.
That ball came up and hit him in the heel of the glove. Most of the times when that ball hits in the heel of the glove, it's coming out. He's got such soft hands and then stayed in the glove.
There's a strike to Ruiz. Ruiz has one of those slumps that would cause you to lose some sleep. He's 0 for 22.
Not good. Brings back bad memories. You know that?
You never were 0 for 22.
Stuff like that?
I don't think you were ever 0 for 22.
I bet I was.
With that sweet swing, come on.
There goes Ryan. He's on the computer.
No. We talked about it. What
it was 0 for 20 something. I don't know. I quit counting after about 15.
Driven out to right field. Giving chase is Swisher, and he'll make the play for the second out.
Yeah, but slumps are part of every baseball player's season. When does a slump become just a bad year? Like at what point? ABs, like you look at every. Did you break your season down 100 ABs or?
No, it was usually the All-Star break and then the end, and then there is a time that you realize as a player that you're not going to reach the goals. I mean, in April, obviously, you still have so much time. May, June, you get in the middle of June, with so many at-bats, it's hard. If you come into a year planning on hitting 300 and, 30 home runs and 100 RBIs, and all of a sudden you're hitting 220, you can't make that up. So you have to lower your goals and deal with it and realize that you've got big games ahead of you. Let's hit 330 the rest of the year, and be part of a winning team. And you kind of massage your ego a little bit and just realize that you got off to a bad start. You got to finish strong.
Your longest streak, Paul, was 0 for 20.
See?
So Ruiz is just scooted right by you. There's a ground ball to Pena, and Andy Pettit has been perfect through 3. Another 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the third. There's no score right here on Yes. The Mets come into town starting tomorrow night, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. Then the Yankees hit the road. 3 games in Arizona. Thursday's an off day in L.A., and then they meet Joe Torre and the Dodgers on Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. Although Saturday and Sunday, they're night games in the East Coast, but not back there. There's Yogi. His golf tournament on Monday, a huge success.
Other than you not showing up, but everything else was great.
Pitches high. I wasn't invited. Yogi knows I can't golf.
I invited you to caddy for me. All you got to do is carry a bag.
He's saying I invited Michael.
See?
Didn't he?
Speaking thing, come on, you went off the other two, and then made me look like a fool. Go back to Yogi.
No score, bottom of the third. There he is. Doing like the speaking thing.
Michael. Okay.
Yogi's trying to enjoy the game now. He sees himself on TV. What's going on?
Only Paul. Paul, you're the only one that can do that.
There's a strike. There's Yogi.
Again, as you walk around the park and things like that, these are the type of pictures that are my favorite part of the new ballpark. I mean, there's such great memorabilia and pictures around here.
Pena down on strikes. Joe DiMaggio and Joe McCarthy.
That's those there. Yeah, I agree. So just pictures I've never seen before. Or not seen often.
Now, when we were at Citi Field, we were in search of Leiter, and we found him. We got to find O'Neill in some of those pictures.
Those are the black and whites. I at least made the color versions, didn't I?
I hope.
Come on, Michael, he's a warrior.
I want to see where he is so I can go visit that shrine. Here's Jeter. High fly ball. Right center field. Victorino calls off Worth and makes the play for the second out. Center field takes charge, even though Worth is a lot bigger.
You see some of the outfielders, the wind is kind of gusting tonight, and you see some of the outfielders at the end kind of rushing in to make a catch, and the ball moves a little bit.
There's O'Neill.
That's that picture I look real tall in. You see that?
Big picture.
You're not just in the pictures around the ballpark. You're in the Great Hall. That's the Great Hall picture.
I always like to be in the hall. You know, being in the hall in school was fun, too. More fun than being in class, wasn't it? Kind of hanging out in the halls.
That's where you and I differed, you know.
Yeah.
I had the pocket protector, and you were out playing ball.
Pens and pencils, yeah.
You were flicking his ear in the hall.
Check swing right back to Kendrick. And both pitchers throwing up zeros as Kendrick retires the Yankees in order. Let's go to the fourth. No score, Phillies, Yankees. Hey, it's time now for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. And here's the question. The Yankees swept the Phillies in the 1950 World Series. That was the Whiz Kids. Which 4 Yankee pitchers recorded wins? We'll find that out in the bottom of the inning. Here's Victorino against Pettit. And there is the first base hit of the game for the Phils. Now, it was so easy before to find the picture of you. I mean, we just went to the Great Hall, which is the place of honor here at the stadium. There you are, standing tall. It took us a while at Citi Field when the Yankees played the Mets a couple weeks ago. We finally did. Here it is, Paul. Here's the picture we found of Al.
Bunty, get your fingers off the bat, man. You're going to hurt yourself.
No, I was holding it right.
And look at the tape, too.
At least it wasn't on an old brick wall. Brand new brick
He's in
wall.
the hall, and I'm in the garbage.
That's a sad Christmas story.
All
it really
has
is.
to do with the organization now, you know. What are you going to say?
You just said it.
Pitches outside to Utley. 1-0. Look at the hitters, Home Depot hitter scouting report on Chase Utley.
Well, we talked about a little bit of class of their own. Tonight, we're seeing the best two second basemen in baseball, Chase Utley and Robbie Cano on the Yankee side. Total grinder, not just a grinder, but a total grinder. One of those guys that gets dirty, plays hard, just does everything he can to win. And this one even surprised me. Drilled. I mean, the last 3 years, he's led the National League in getting hit by pitch 27 times, 24 times, 25 times. That's getting in there and not budging, not giving up on pitches. That's a lot of times to be getting hit by pitch.
Well, his approach, Paul, and I know you were further off the plate, but he is right on the plate. And when he's right, his coverage on the outside part of the plate and the inside is as good as any. He really is that type of hitter, left center, right center. And some guys, I know Craig Biggio was a guy that was similar on the plate, but dove toward home plate, just couldn't get out of the way. Obviously, with the numbers you just said, he's similar.
One foul back.
Every once in a while, I've said it time and time again, as a hitter, you know you had a pitch to hit. Andy Pettit, as good as he's been this year, not going to give you a lot of these pitches. That pitch right there, he looked like he wanted to change his rhythm, being in the stretch. Utley got a good fastball to hit, just fouled it back.
See, it's pitches like that where you know when a guy, whether he's locked in or not, because that would be a pitch normally drive or at least hit hard somewhere. Not saying that every mistake thrown by a pitcher is hit hard, but the class of a Chase Utley, usually they don't miss those.
The 2-2 popped up. Andy Pettit's calling, but now he's called off there by Pena. Well, they're always afraid to have the pitchers catch the pop-ups.
I was just going to say that he did exactly what you're supposed to. You call it off, or you call for it until you hear the guys that get paid to field the ball to call you off here. It's right near the mound. Okay, it's mine. Definitely Cervelli get out of there. And then you got the third baseman coming in. You're right. They would rather have the slick fielding infielders catch anything around it.
You ever catch a pop-up?
Yeah.
You enjoy it?
I did. I did.
Here's Polanco. Paul, did the everyday players think of the pitchers as real players?
Well, there's definitely a separation because the pitchers work out together.
That'd be no.
Schedule. I'm sugarcoating no. Okay. But seriously, there is a difference because the everyday players are on the field. The pitchers are in the weight room or working for their next start. The relievers are usually out there, but it's just a different part of the game. But the thing about the pop-up and getting out of the way, if you look back where everybody came up through Pony League and in high school, I mean, your best athletes were your pitchers and your shortstops.
You were a pitcher.
I pitched in high school, sure. And, I mean, you would never, in high school, the pitcher called it, he gets it. But in the major leagues, you're here for a reason as a fielder. And
There's a ground ball to third, and under the glove of Pena, and it trickles into left field. Victorino will stay right there. So that's got to be an E5, allowing Polanco to reach.
Again, a ball you don't expect to end up in left field, but sometimes you take your eye off the ball, already trying to get that ball. Victorino, fast runner, probably trying to come up with it quick to get it over to second base.
Let's take a look at that play with the IOTV HD Super Shot. Ball just didn't come up.
Yeah, you can look at that both ways, Michael. You either didn't get your glove down or the ball didn't come up. But either way, it rolled through the infield. Victorino not knowing whether he has to break up two there. Didn't get a good read on it. Stayed at second base.
Tough job now for Pettit against Ryan Howard. There's that inside move. Now, Al, you insist that move works, right? Even though you just...
Yeah, but most of the time you're not going to get it, but you want to make sure that the runner at second base doesn't get a big secondary lead if there's a hit to the outfield.
Grounded, a base hit to the outfield. Victorino's going to round third. They're sending it home, and Nick Swisher will just toss the ball into second. It's an RBI single for Ryan Howard. We have the first run of the game. The Phillies lead 1-0.
A lot of things happen on that play that you would teach in baseball. Ryan Howard obviously pulls the ball in the hole. Nick Swisher knows who's running. Victorino, a fast base runner. So he has to jump over the ball, but Swisher knows chances are he's not going to have a play at the plate. Hold the guy at third base, especially with one out. You don't want to sacrifice fly to get him in. Keep the double play in order.
Well, here, Michael, when you talked about it, with Victorino at second base, if he knows that there's a pitcher that'll do an inside move, he's got to wait just a split second. That's why I said base hit to the outfield. Victorino's just too fast of a runner. He's their big base running threat. Watch the secondary lead. He's waiting, making sure that Andy comes around before he can get that double hop. Swisher just realizing he would have been safe because of the speed.
Pitch to Worth is a strike. Worth struck out looking in the second inning. So it's 1-0 Phillies here in the rubber game of this 3-game set.
Randy Pettit leads all of the American League in double plays balls, and you know, every once in a while you get what you want as a pitcher. You get a ground ball and it finds a hole, and that's one of those cases. Howard didn't hit the ball hard, he just hit it in the hole. Men on base, you weren't able to shift over there and take that away from him. Good change up there, but you know, it looked like Worth was actually looking to go away, and that's got to scare you as a pitcher when you're throwing away. And then that guy, you know, Worth, we saw him put one out in right field seats last night, so very capable of driving the ball out.
And the reason why that changeup, as you say, Andy pulling the string a little bit. And he came in the previous pitch.
1-2. Driven out to center field. Granderson will make the play for the second out.
Yeah, you mentioned, Paul, about the ground ball. You know, get a little benign little hit to far enough through the infield pass to share that Howard did. But that's where, you know, a guy like Andy, obviously a great veteran major league pitcher, you realize that errors and hits and whatever transpires is that your job is to just continue to make pitches. And yeah, you want to pick up your third baseman who made a blatant error, and you just keep. It's like pages of the book. You just keep rolling with what the strength and weakness of the hitter is and make a pitch.
Ibanez, his first movement against the lefty has got to be back at the, you know, up the middle away, and his first movement is kind of flying open, makes it almost impossible unless you make a really bad breaking ball hang it, makes it impossible to hit that curveball.
The 0-1. Could not hold up on that. Kind of an odd swing. The count 0-2.
Again, we talked about how this count started. You see that front hip, and just the first thing it does, it's gone, and it makes everything seem away. The back comes with you, and then all of a sudden, you know, it sets up. You start trying to cover that, and you just can't hold up, can't get to the ball inside. It all starts with that front hip.
And he couldn't hold him there, just as Paul called it. The outside pitch was unreachable. So big error, 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left. Let's take this baby to the bottom of the 4th. It's 1-0 Phillies. '50 World Series. Which 4 Yankee pitchers recorded wins in that World Series? Vic Raschi, Allie Reynolds, Tom Ferrick, and Whitey Ford. Whitey Ford was just a kid then.
If I get one of those right, does that count? I figured Whitey had one of them.
It counts, yes.
I got a yes on
you've
that?
been doing very well on these.
Red Ruffin, you would have got that one. Tom Ferrick.
Red Ruffin didn't pitch.
No.
It was Allie Reynolds.
Oh, was it?
Red Ruff, he pitched back with Babe, didn't he?
Yeah.
Tom Ferrick was a longtime scout with the Royals here locally. Nice man.
One. High fly ball. Center field. Victorino. 1 out. Tonight after the postgame, catch an all-new Forbes Sports Money presented by Fox Business Network. As our experts discuss how LeBron James' future may impact the entire sports economy. Plus, hear how NASCAR star Jeff Gordon is changing his business model. It's an all-new Forbes Sports Money tonight after the postgame. Only on Yes.
Well, we talked about Ibanez front hip. Look at Mark Teixeira. Front hip comes out in front of the ball a little bit. Took a little bit off as a pitcher. But if you don't stay in there, you can't stay through it. Even if you're out in front and that hip stays in, your hands back, you can still drive the ball. You can just see everything's kind of falling away from the ball.
What do you do to fix it?
I think you got to stay up the middle more. I think that you have to just stay through your swing a little bit longer. Kind of they say cover the baseball. Don't get to the ball and come off of it. And he has power. And Mark Teixeira hits with his hips, and he gets extension that way. But there's a fine line of just flying open and not staying through the ball.
Our late colleague Bobby Mercer used to say, if you're bailing, he said, everybody thinks you have to move closer to the plate or close your stance. He said, but that doesn't do it. You should open your stance because it forces you to close it and keep your hips in. He said, just do the opposite. That one's driven to right field. And Worth is there for the second out. Would you ever do anything that drastic, Paul, if you kept bailing?
There were different years, and Al and I were talking about it the other night. Different years. I mean, if you went down some of your highlights from different years, you have completely different stances, and it all becomes of what you're doing that year. Some days some years you feel quick inside, where you're not afraid to get on the plate, and other years you feel like you can't get to the ball away, so you'll close up a little bit to reach it. So there are minor adjustments year to year that you'll make in your stance that can help.
I always thought it was noticeable, especially for the aging players, because they would want to cheat to the fastball. Didn't want to get beat on the inside part of the plate, even if it wasn't a guy 95 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour. They would leak, as you're saying, or try to get to the fastball, especially on the inner part of the plate. That was noticeable as a pitcher. He's got a little changeup or some off-speed pitches to get him out in front. And usually, because look, it's bat speed, and guys get a little older, and that speed slows down, and pitchers can identify that. Susceptible to slow stuff off the plate.
The 1-1. Cano laces one to right, and a diving play by Worth to take away an extra base hit. That is a really good play by Jason Worth. He got a good jump, and then they hold it in as he crashes to the turf. We played 4. Kendrick likes what he sees. 1-0 Phils. The Yankees 1-0, and Ben Francisco leads off against Andy Pettit. Pitch outside, 1-0. It'll be the bottom third of the order against the 38-year-old left-hander. Line drive right at Pena. So the soft ground ball goes under his glove, and that line drive goes right into the glove. That's Stephanie from Survivor with the big ring on, and she is engaged to Kyle Kendrick. And that's Brandon Jacobs of the Giants.
He was here the other night. He comes alive.
Yeah, he was also at the boxing match. Jim Cramer, CNBC's financial analyst, and Patrick Ewing. The big fella.
It's quite a large strike zone. You'd love to pitch to him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, what's he?
7'2".
7'2".
You were a pretty big, tall strike zone there.
Not 7'2". No. I'll tell you that.
Manute Bowl would be pretty good too.
It didn't look like he had much power either.
Knocked the bat out of his hand.
Al, have you seen now the value in working with O'Neill? What's happened with us over these last couple of days? I mean,
food?
It's unbelievable. Yesterday, NYY Steak brings us unbelievable food, and now
good too.
The people at Turkey Hill have brought us Anchory as Ruiz walks.
I'm getting real tired of you guys force feed me in here. You know that?
Yeah, it's awful. I know you're very upset. Let me taste this.
I think I might have the best one, guys. This Pinstripe Brownie Blast.
Mine's good too. Mine's Bomber Sunday.
What? He doesn't get.
No, what you can't do. You can't talk with ice cream in your mouth
or anything. You're right.
He doesn't get fat eating this stuff.
No, we do. Well, I do. And
no, I do.
Paul, you got the vanilla.
That's plain Jane vanilla. It's the best.
And the people at Turkey Hill, very nice to bring this up for Paul O'Neill, and we just happen to be the beneficiaries of hanging out with him.
Isn't that the truth?
Anyway, we want to thank Turkey Hill and to support all the Yankee fans out there. Turkey Hill is continuing the great sweepstakes for free tickets to Yankee home games during the 2010 season. Fans can look for the entry sticker on specially marked packages of Bronx Bomber Sunday and Pinstripe Brownie Blast and enter the code online at turkeyhill.com/Yankees. They're not going to be able to turn a double play. Ruiz was moving, so they get Valdez for the second out, and Ruiz is now in scoring position.
Well, that's a bat that died. Not a hero. A hit and run. Looks like he was on his way. There's cheat, no option, but just to get the player at first. See, the barrel ended up down the third baseline. The handle ended up down the first baseline. It's good kindling right there.
Or a lamp.
Here's Victorino with a runner on second and 2 outs. Count one of them. 2 outs and runners in scoring position this year. Pettit gets tough. Opponents are just 2 for 23 against him. Andy's got a 90-mile-per-hour fastball tonight.
Which has been right at about his average this year, Michael, at 89, almost 90 miles an hour, as you say. I think still that big curveball, he hasn't gotten as many called strikes to get into the count. Threw into Francisco and also Valdez. The second pitch. That one right there. It offsets the cutter and the good 90-mile-an-hour fastball, especially the ball inside on the right end. It's just a give-up pitch. So 15 miles an hour slower than his fastball.
Keep talking now. Michael's over here eating ice cream again. He can't talk. Good pitch there.
Nice changeup.
Seems like Andy has really gotten away from the cutter, which was his exclusive pitch to righties. And he's using the backdoor breaking ball.
He'll throw about 10 pitches a game so far this year, give or take, of that pitch right there. A little changeup down the way to the right hand.
The 2-2. Grounded foul into the Philly dugout.
I'm hitting the deck over there.
That's where it hit. Could have hit him right in the chest. Yep. Two. Driven deep to left field. Giving Chase Gardner. He's on the run. He's on the track. See ya. 2-run home run for Victorino, and the Phillies lead 3-0.
I'll tell you what, Victorino right now, last time up, fought a cutter off to right field. This time up, swung through a couple change-ups. It looks like he got a cutter again that he was waiting for. Didn't quite get it in all the way. Two good at bats by Victorino.
I think that's a great at bat, Paul. This ball is bored in on his hands. Not only did he get the barrel of the bat, but he was able to keep it fair. That's real tough to do. Normally a barrel would come out in front of the home plate area and hook it. Obviously, Andy not happy about that.
Andy Pettit upset, but I think if he looks at the replay, he saw that he basically made his pitch.
That one's popped up, right side. Teixeira will put it away, and that will do it. But the Phillies scored 2 more runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. You cannot believe he gave up this 2-run home run. We're halfway through. Phillies lead 3-0. Brought to you in part by Samsung's 3D LED TV. See live sports in cutting-edge clarity. By Blimpie, America's Sub Shop. And by Mazda. Zoom, zoom. Well, the Phillies have a 3-0 lead for Kyle Kendrick. And Nick Swisher's going to lead off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And there's a strike.
So far, shown a lot of sinkers and changeup. That first pitch cutter to Swisher. Let's see if he changes his pattern or second time around with some of these Yankee hitters. That's the pitch right there that'll keep the Yankee hitters honest from not looking out over the plate on that split finger changeup he throws down the way.
And the count is 2-1. Kendrick has retired 8 Yankees in a row. Had a little bit of a hiccup in the 2nd inning. First and second, 1 out, but got out of it. And Swisher serves it the other way. Ibanez is right there for the first out.
Well, all of a sudden, Kendrick looks up. Got a big 3 in that column. Got a lead. See if they can continue to shut down the Yankees.
Kind of an ominous multicolored sky right now. The apartment building beyond the center field wall gleaming from the sun, but it's dark all around it. Very strange, almost ethereal look.
It's like you just read the first chapter of a book, doesn't it? Huh? Ethereal? That looks fake there. That's a good cereal.
Not cereal, ethereal.
Good one, Michael.
Doesn't that look great?
It looks ethereal.
Yeah.
That screen looks clear as a bell.
I tell you what, that screen is awesome. And it's one of the things between innings. Obviously, at home you don't see it, or they'll show some of the fans on the big screen, and when they catch kids or they catch guys that aren't expecting it, the reactions are funny, and that's what Michael and I do during the innings, man.
Absolutely. That's how you used to react when you first started in TV. Now you're smooth, put makeup on. It's all good.
Yeah. I'm real good at the makeup yet.
The 1-2. Foul back.
Starting to bring in that little cutter, Paul. This inning he's thrown 4 of them. 2 of the left-hander, Swisher, now Gardner. Sinker, changeup, all fading away. Now he's cutting that little cutter in on the lefties.
We're back to the scissor effect, aren't we?
There it is.
1-2.
Again, you see that swing right there. It kind of goes away. It looks like he's trying to pull that ball. And, that ball right there has to be taken to left field. Especially if you're Gardner, use your wheels, slap the ball to left field. It just looks like he saw it so well. You make up your mind to pull the ball, and all of a sudden the ball continues to run away from you.
Chopped softly towards second. Utley just gets Gardner for the second out. Well, there's a shot of the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar situated in center field in Yankee Stadium. The Mohegan Sun Sports Bar is a great place to gather and enjoy the game.
You been out there, Michael?
I have not been in that bar, no.
Should we ask if you have?
I haven't been out there. I've been in the New York, the steakhouse.
And Cervelli dunks a base hit into center field with 2 outs.
Kind of shows you how many things there are to see in the new stadium when you're in your second year, and there's still places that you haven't been.
Now you're on the big screen.
Hey. Hello, everybody. Here's my buddy Michael. I don't know about this guy over here.
Here is Pena.
I'd say every time you get an opportunity to come up in an at-bat after you feel like you've just cost your pitcher a run, you really dig in there and try to do something offensively.
Now, hopefully Pena is not swinging for the downs. He's obviously not a home run guy. You want to figure out a way to make up for a key error.
Just got a shot at Pettit. You can see he's still angry at the Victorino home run. How long does it stay with you, Alan? You can't take it out on the mound again, I guess, right?
It depends where you are. Now, as good a season as he's having, you write it off. I think he's going to be more frustrated. I don't know whether it's so much selection, but I thought it was just a good pitch for Victorino to be able to keep it fair, pull his hands in the way he did.
Popped up. Polanco. And that'll do it here in the fifth. No runs are hit. 1 man left. Yankees being shut down by Kyle Kendrick. Andy Pettit and the Yankees trailing 3-0. That's Rescue Inc. What's Rescue Inc.? It's an army of tattooed motorcycle riding street guys who have zero tolerance for animal abuse and neglect. And their mission statement is to help enhance the quality of life for animals that are in need of care. We think it's a great, great cause. Now, you can donate to help stop animal abuse at their website at www.rescueinc. That's Rescue INK Inc. because they all have tattoos.org.
And if you don't, this guy's going to be real bad.
I'll tell you what, I saw some of those guys on the field before the game, and until you kind of understand what they do, they're right there. If you're a hitter, that's a beautiful thing.
Excuse me. Polanco with a single. You met those guys, right, Paul?
Oh, I mean, they look like they're straight from the weight room with chains, and then here they are doing this wonderful thing for animals. And you see Polanco just caught in the middle of everything. Every once in a while, the ball just happens to hit on the barrel and find a hole out there.
I know you loved it as a hitter, and that's a part of. You mentioned last about how Andy Pettit, Michael, how do you change the page and forget about the pitch they threw to Victorino? That you realize that part of the game, or hits like that, or line drive outs, is pain you caught last inning. Sometimes it's very frustrating.
It's funny how you say about that, and you can rationalize it up here. But were you able to do it that easily on the field?
Not immediately. I know. We saw it with the coolers.
Is that right? Like I said, those were all staged.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's part of being mentally tough and all that, of just being able to dismiss it. And that's where you see a scrambling situation with a pitcher. If you let it roll into 3, 4, 5, 6 pitches because of your frustration, either a bad call or a bad play or a broken bad single. Your better pitchers let it dismiss it quicker. You have to, just like your hitters.
There's got to be some games that you feel really good driving home, giving up 3 runs, even losing, but where you had a chance to give up 7 or 8 and you battled and you learn from those. And I think they do make you a better pitcher.
I mean, it's reality. Part of a starting pitcher, you have 32 starts or so, give or take. You have to assume, just based on the season, you're not going to be stellar every outing. And as you mentioned, you're going to have some games where you battle it, you struggle through a little bit, maybe give up 3 or 4. You hope your offense comes through. Those are gratifying wins. Sometimes more than not the 7, 8 inning shutout.
Those feel pretty good.
Yeah, those are good.
The 1-2. Foul away. Yankees have the shift on for Ryan Howard, and the third baseman Pena is on the second base side of the bag, and Derek Jeter stays put it short. Now, I have a question that I don't really know the answer to. Maybe Ryan knows. A ground ball to Pena, is that scored 6-3 or is that scored 5-3? Because he's the third baseman.
5-3.
But he's not playing third base.
Still the third baseman.
But there's still, who would have the third baseman, somebody on the right of him? That's where Jeter is. So I guess it would be 5-3. We'll have to check it out in case it happens. The 1-2. Well, we'll never know. Howard swings and misses.
See, the pitch before, he got a hanging curveball, and he got away with one. And talking about Andy Pettit, well, there was the breaking ball that he wanted to throw the one down off the plate. And this is the pitch I'm talking about that he got away with. This is kind of a hanger right down the middle of the plate. Andy Pettit knows he's very lucky to get it back, and all of a sudden this is what he intended to do. That ball right there is not going to be hit.
Hits to Jason Worth is outside. I just got texted that it would be a 5-3 if it's hit to the third baseman, no matter where he's standing. He could be standing in right field. He's still the third baseman.
You remember Joe Madden in Tampa Bay when Big Papi was up? Third baseman goes to the left.
Yep.
Third baseman left field, and he would shift all of the outfielders to the right. Wow. No third baseman.
Not trying to get in his head or anything.
I guess not.
think Andy Pettit really has to be careful with Jason Worth. He hit a ball away last night. He's had a couple good swings tonight. And that one by him. There's got to be, I mean, when you're going over a scouting report, you know who you're not supposed to get beat by, but you have to have a gut feeling of guys that you know that are going to be tough outs.
Better matchups, no question about it. You know, and I would think, especially after watching Worth yesterday going right field off of AJ, that pitch away, you know, as a left-handed pitcher, you pretty much, you'll show him, but you get him out of the way. And he's doing a good job of coming inside and then going out. Because when Worth is right, I mean, that outside part of the plate is really his strength.
And you see that cat and mouse game before. The pitch before, Cervelli was inside, hitting the dirt on the inside part of the plate, knowing that Pettit was going over to first base. And all of a sudden, you know, trying to get into the pitcher's head, we're coming in there, and then all of a sudden the pitch is away next.
Two.
Now, I don't know if Andy did that on his own, but he did a slide step. Now, with a changeup, that's a dangerous pitch to throw a slide step on because you're going to quicken your delivery. Watch his leg kick. Boom. Gets out there quickly, and innately you're going to get underneath it because your body is quicker and you get out in front of it. Normally, slow curveballs and changeups, you really try to stay away from the slide step.
Hot shot, base hit. So Worth with a single, moving Polanco to second base. Time for another look at tonight's Toyota text poll. Once again, the question, which is the toughest division in the National League? You've been voting at 58-772, and here's how you voted. Oh, very close. 47% say the East, 46% say the West. No one, not that many people, say the Central. Mike Harkey goes out and talks with Andy Pettit, who was coasting along and now struggling just a bit. Look at this great shot of New York City. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. Get every Major League Baseball game and the most in HD. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Multicolored sky.
That was a good looking shot.
Swing and a miss.
You know, it's funny because I remember playing here, and we're getting close to the longest day of the year here in June, and you know it's 8:30. It's nice, but in Cincinnati it can be 9:30 by the end of June. A summer night, 9:20, 9:30. And it just seems like such a great long day. But I remember that was the one thing I had to make an adjustment to when I got here to play in the East, how dark it got. Now, I don't want to go where Yogi went. You know, it gets darker here quicker or anything like that. But, you know, because it's so far east, especially in the playoff games, when it's late in the year and you start at like 8:15, it feels like midnight out there, pitch black.
Yeah, because that's on the westernmost, close to the westernmost times for the Eastern time zone, right? You ever sit? Did you sit on pitches?
No.
Especially if a guy's throwing a pattern?
No, I hit off the fastball. I didn't care what the guy threw. I hit off the fastball. I would try to adjust to everything else. There was no way I could sit on a breaking ball and adjust to a fastball. In the back of my mind, it was always he might throw a fastball.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Ibanez 0 for 3 against Pettit. Two strikeouts.
You've seen some swings from Ryan Howard, from Worth. It looks like they're starting to come around. Ibanez, to me, to see is that front hip just coming out. Still looks like he's kind of lost at the plate. Balance it away. There's no way he can drive that ball to left field. That's the only way you can hit that left-handed slider away.
It's also telling me, Paul, that his cutter, Andy, tonight is very good. You're getting good Major League hitters to swing futilely at the pitch going down the way. So Ryan Howard now, Ibanez. And the thing with the cutter, especially Andy's, it looks like a fastball. Unlike the curveball or the slider spin. And you get the emergency hacks, especially great location like that last pitch.
6th inning, 3-0 Phillies. 1-0 count on Francisco. And there's the inside move, chasing back Polanco. Breaking ball strike.
You know what also does, and you had mentioned about me liking that inside move. Sometimes, you know, when you're not getting the jockeying from your shortstop and second baseman, you could get a guy to actually think that he can go because there isn't any jockey to keep him close.
Fly ball down the right field line, giving chases to Shera, but he runs out of room.
Especially for middle runner guys, that Polanco will still occasional bag now and then. The runner will think it's second base, nobody's covered. If I get a big lead, I could maybe go.
The 1-2. Strike 3. Francisco down looking. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left on base. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning here at the stadium. Phillies lead the Yankees 3-0. TV, internet, and phone. This is Beyond Cable. This is FiOS. Hisanori Takahashi goes for the Mets, 5-2, 3.48. And Javier Vasquez, who seems like he's turned his season around, 6-5. The ERA dropping now 5.43. Now our coverage on Yes will start at 6. The game's going to be on at 7 on My 9. Then right after the game, boom, go right back to Yes for post-game coverage.
I can tell you right now, Mike, are you going to have to help me a little bit on the pitcher tomorrow? Look at the pitcher's first name.
Hisanori.
I got a good chance of butchering that thing.
I think you're going to be fine. Here's Jeter. He is 0 for 2 against Kendrick. Kendrick spinning a 2-hit shutout. We're on the bottom of the 6th. Jeter struck out in the first, hit a deep fly ball to right center in the third. Strike
Yeah, you saw those stats on Jeep when he came up to the plate. Some things just don't look right. You know, when his stats don't start out with 300, it doesn't seem like somebody's made a mistake or something. You're so accustomed to watching him hit 320, 315.
There's a ground ball is short. And with his 0 for 3 tonight, he's now 0 for his last 14 and 3 for his last 23. There are still great full-season plan locations available at Yankee Stadium, including in our Champions Suite. Now, Champions gets you close to the action, includes complimentary, all-inclusive food and beverages, plus other great amenities such as postseason ticket options. If you'd like more information, just call 718-508-3955, email champions@yankees.com, or visit yankees.com/champions today. Pitch to Granderson is a strike.
Kendricks keeps going down. I mean, he's had good command with his pitches. Nothing really overpowering. Pretty good movement. See there, he's getting away a lot with that changeup, and I think it's because his sinker resembles his changeup so much. And this ball, you know, that changeup you recognize it as a hard sinker, and it's, you know, he's taking some velocity off. Left-handed Yankees.
Especially changeup in, right-handed sinker ball. Normally sinker away, changeup away. That ball was a changeup inside. That's difficult to do opposite arm side. Right-handed pitcher in on the lefty.
1-2. 2-2. Yankees had base runners in the second, one base runner in the fifth. They had first and second, one out in the second. Gardner flied out to left. Chiarelli grounded out to third. That was a Yankee threat. Only time they had a runner in scoring position. That one is lofted out into left center. Victorino over for the second out. Against Kendrick and Moyer, over 13 and 2/3 innings, the Yankees have just 5 hits.
And Moyer was something else. 3 hits through 8 innings yesterday.
But he was snippy, like.
That's what I read. I wasn't there, so I'm taking what I read as pure fact. Those are not snippy numbers right there. A.J. Burnett really struggled last night. Made no excuses. He said, I didn't know where the ball was going. And didn't make any excuses for not covering first base on his last play of the game. He said, I don't know why I didn't do it. Well, Joe Girardi said, that's not something you yell at somebody about. They know they made the mistake.
Yeah, that's a mental error. Brain cramp.
That has a lot to do with what type of team you're managing. You're managing a young team. I mean, you might sit a guy down and say, you know, this can't happen. I mean, you're managing a veteran team that won a world championship. This guy, A.J. Burnett, probably won the biggest game of the year for him last year, Game 2 of the World Series. So a lot of things, you know, you don't have to explain.
To do it once. Yeah, now I agree with what you're saying. If it's a guy who's lackadaisical and just repeatedly, you know, making mental errors or lazy, yeah, then you might have a problem.
When now Girardi took out Burnett, he leaned in and said something then, and he said that he told him at that point, "Don't worry, you're going to straighten this out," because AJ has struggled the last couple of starts. But it was more of a reassuring message than anything else. 3-2 and a walk. Second walk issued by Kendrick. And let's take a look at the pitch by pitch, which is brought to you by Suzuki Kizashi.
Oh, that's a nice little double play ball with the pitch by pitch. Teixeira, a little cutter inside corner, trying to get him to think inside. Then he floats a little fastball away, stands him up with a fastball in. Little sinker away that's running, getting underneath it. That backdoor cutter, perfect paint on the outside corner. Ooh, just misses that one ball inside and then throws a changeup to Walker.
So here's Alex Rodriguez. Alex is 0 for 2 tonight with a ground ball to short or fly ball to right.
love to see, as a Yankee fan, A-Rod really start to take off, get back in the lineup. Can always use his bat. Teixeira hasn't been himself to this point. Jeet's going through a little thing right now. Great time for Alex to get back in the lineup, start driving the ball.
Now, this is Alex Rodriguez's 60th game this year. You know, he has 8 home runs. Now, his lowest home run total through his first 60 games of his season was 9 in 1997. And that's when he was really just starting out. Second or third year with the Seattle Mariners. Fouled away. Now let's see how many he ended up with that year. 1997. Ended up with 23.
That print gets smaller and smaller in that book.
Tell me about it.
So I was going to hold that book for you. You start moving it a little farther away.
It was almost in the legend seats just so I could see it. Rodriguez is just the 4th batter that Kendrick has faced out of the stretch. Now Moyer faced only 2 in the stretch last night.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You know you're going to have a good ball game, obviously, if you're not going out of the stretch. The 2 solo home runs Moyer gave up last night.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at first. Yankees down 3-0, bottom of the 6th. Kendrick deals. Hot shot, base hit. Well, if you're the Phillies, the last guy you want to see up in a big spot is Cano, and that's who's coming up after this.
It's a pretty tough pitch. Ball boring down and in on him. Alex doesn't come off of it, drives it through the hole. Again, now you've set the table for a guy who's been in the lineup, leading hitter in all of baseball. So the way to make other teams not pitch around your hot hitter is for those guys ahead of you to set the table. Now they don't have a choice. They got to go after him, try to make great pitches, and the guy is very confident at the plate.
Last night he hit one of the longest home runs we've seen here, 458 feet. That's a big league blast. So Cano stands in as the tying run. Yankees trail 3-0, bottom of the 6th.
Wow, you talk about movement. You see how much he missed on that pitch, and then, you know, if you're catching, you're thinking, uh-oh, now we're in a tough situation. You see, once this ball inside, that ball ends up, 2 feet outside.
But late movement, obviously with the runner at second base, Ruiz wanted to not show his hand or Kendrick's hand.
Hot shot, base hit. Teixeira rounds third. He's coming home. The throw is cut off by Howard. Moving to third is Alex Rodriguez. That's an RBI single for Cano. His second hit of the night. Yankees are on the board. Phillies lead 3-1.
I tell you, as a hot hitter, you cannot wait to get to the plate, especially in big situations. See, this ball got a lot of the plate. Bobby Cano just drives the ball through the infield. Good break by Teixeira and good base running by Alex Rodriguez also. Ryan Howard, I don't think, knew that he might have had a shot at A-Rod. A-Rod had to wait up. You see on the throw, he's going to go.
Boy, Alex had no regard for it. I don't know whether he was just deking him to not go to third, but he did not even look to see what Ryan Howard was doing. Maybe it was part of the scout report. Hey, run on Ryan Howard if he gets the ball.
That was very odd because he was jogging to second base. It's hard to figure out what exactly he was doing. He's talking with Ed Rapuano now. Anyway, Cano with 2 hits. The other time when he was retired, a nice play by Worth and Wright. Cano has 31 multi-hit games. So they're having a meeting at the mound. Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, and they break it up. Kendrick is in his first big jam. He's still just 1 out away from getting out of it, but he has allowed a run. And here's Nick Swisher. Swisher's 0 for 1 with a walk. 85 pitches for Kendrick, 54 strikes. And there's some stirring in the Philly bullpen. The 1-0. Foul back.
You know, if you look at the pitches Kendrick has missed with all game, most of them have been this inning. He's missed on location a few times. He hangs this ball right out over the plate. It's like a slider or cutter that just ended up right down the middle of the plate.
Boy, you're right, Paul. He's missed on location a lot. That slider, middle of the plate. Swisher sure would like to have that one back.
Popped up. Long run for Polanco. He makes a dive and makes the play. And a grateful Kyle Kendrick gets bailed out by Polanco. An outstanding play by the Philly third baseman. Gives up the body up against the tarp and holds on for the final out of the sixth, and Kendrick becomes a fan. Almost running into Alex Rodriguez. Yankees get a run back, but Polanco kept it right there. Ruiz, breaking ball misses outside. Look at this play by Polanco.
Certain guys, and we talked about it yesterday, just do a lot of things on the field that help teams win. Good hitter, good defensive player.
And that one right there snaps an 0-for-23 slide by Ruiz. So he leads off the seventh with a double, and his walk in the fifth became costly as well because Victorino had a two-run home run following it.
Nobody in the ballpark. More, you see Polanco just going out there. No, 2 outs. Man in scoring position, 2 outs. What a big play.
Swisher wasn't too thrilled. Well, after that double, Joe Girardi goes out and talks with Andy Pettit. They might be talking about a bunt play with Valdez. There's nobody warming in the bullpen right now. So this is definitely a strategy move. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So here's Valdez. Does Charlie Manuel have him bunt? Ruiz at second, nobody out. They're going to have the wheel play. The bunt is back to Pettit. He has one play, and he'll throw it to Cano at first, so the sacrifice successful. 1-4.
Soft enough to stay away from Andy. I thought, you know, the hit it coming right back to the pitcher, just bouncing. You know that the wheel play's on. It was just discussed. I just hesitated a minute here. Wheel play is.
Derek Jeter's going to beat the runner here. Hopefully the ball is bunted to A-Rod and you'll still have a play. But the ball got back to Andy, and you see Jeet does everything right. He's there in time, but the ball was bunted back to the pitcher, which you're not taught to do. And he just didn't have enough time.
Yeah, it was actually a bad bunt in the sense of direction. I think Andy slipped a little bit there because that you're pouncing like a cat. You know that, okay, we got a wheel play. We're going to third. That's the very reason why you got your shortstop running down as Payne is coming in hard.
Now, Paul, you can speak to this, and you can see the Verizon Wireless scoreboard 3-1 Phillies. I don't remember in all the years Joe Torre managed that the Yankees ever put on a wheel play. I don't think he believed in a wheel play.
Not a lot. You know, it is a play that you use every so often, but I don't think it's such a bad play because if it doesn't work, if you've got guys that make the right decision and it doesn't work, you're still getting the out at first base. It's not like you're giving away anything. You're just giving yourself a chance, obviously, unless the batter reads it and swings away.
That's when you could get hurt.
That's right. Well, I mean, in that scenario, just clearly Joe Girardi knew or figured he knew that Wilson Valdez was not going to do anything but bunt.
You know, and it's very important there when Derek Jeter goes that, you know, he breaks a little late. I mean, he's got enough wheels to beat the player there. And if you leave too soon, that's what the hitter's job is to read the shortstop. And if you do leave too soon, guy will bring that back and just try to slap the ball.
So an intentional walk to Victorino to set up the double play with Utley at the plate. Utley is 0 for 3 against Pettit. And that's the first time that Victorino's been intentionally walked this season, so the count now 1-0. And Utley is 4 for his last 20 and 15 for his last 86 as David Robertson heats up.
Right here, Andy's just thinking, obviously, double play ball. You intentionally walk a good runner. He's got to be mindful of keeping him closer. Doesn't steal the bag. A breaking ball, something down and away soft would be a rollover pitch and Utley get on top of, hit a little 4-6-3 double play.
Utley has 1 hit in 10 at-bats lifetime against Pettit.
We talked about his success, game 1 against Sabathia. On the other hand, Andy Pettit has pretty much dealt with Utley.
Count 1-1.
Geez, even taking a little bit more off of that. That was almost like a curveball slur, but lefty, you're thinking something to be able to pull off. You have a guy who's going to be leaking a little bit, and a good breaking ball. He's out in front. That's that rollover ground ball, pulls it to the right side pitch.
Gets out on that front foot and actually starts walking towards the pitcher. He's just out front. See, we talked about Chase Utley leading the National League in hit by pitch every year, and that's why you see that last pitch. He doesn't get out of the way. He stays right in there, and if that ball's at an elbow or something, it's going to hit him. Not going to give in against lefties. Part of his success in hitting them.
Just missed inside, 3-1.
A tough pitch for you to throw that ball into a lefty.
No question about it.
Hard to control because not a lot of lefties like to pitch inside. I don't know if it's you're afraid to hit him or if it's just a harder pitch for you to throw.
Well, you don't really have a window. You know, obviously with the right-handed batter, you can kind of see that spot. With the batter, you don't want to hit him.
3-1. Drops in an off-speed pitch, 3-2. Well, do they send Victorino at first? Andy's creeping up on that 100 pitch mark. Now, Joe Girardi is bringing the infield in with 2 strikes, try to put out the run because he thinks they will be sending Victorino, wouldn't be able to turn to double play.
I think if you look at Charlie Manuel, he kind of gave his hand away. He kind of showed his hands wheeling, telling Perlazo. But you know what? It all depends on Utley as a hitter to have confidence that he'll put a ball in play if it's a strike.
Andy trying to catch Victorino sleeping.
Very important as a runner here, as good as Andy Pettit's move is, that you realize it's not your job to steal a base here. Your job is to make sure 100% that he's going to home plate and then trust that your hitter's going to put it in play if it's a strike. It's very hard to do as a runner sometimes because you're always in the back of your mind say, what if he does strike out? Well, again, it's not your job to steal the base. You're just in motion trying to make things happen.
The last thing you want to do is get picked off.
It's 3-1. Phillies over the Yankees. We're in the 7th. First and third with one out. Real cat and mouse game going on here between Pettit and Utley. Yankees have the infield in. Ruiz is at third. Victorino's at first. Victorino was going. The ball fouled off.
Interesting pitch selection there. He threw a front door or at the hip slider. And that purpose of that pitch is that you're just trying to have the hitter give up on it and get a strike on the inside corner. But dangerous pitch, especially here at Yankee Stadium. Going to miss in off the plate.
We'll try that fastball in again. See if he gets a call this time.
And he walked him, so the bases are loaded.
Again, those pitches look very easy to lay off, but as a left-handed hitter, when you're getting busted in, especially late in the count like that, that's very hard to not offer at those pitches.
Well, he's feeling comfortable, Paul, coming in. He came in 4 of the 7 pitches. Clearly, that was the game plan. Cervelli and Andy wanted to go after Utley. I thought with that first pitch breaking ball slowed down the way. Nice pitch to roll over on.
This will be his 100th pitch coming up. Polanco is 1 for 3, also reached on an E5. There's a strike.
That's that curveball. That curveball early in the count, that he can throw for a strike. A lot of hitters, you're so geared up to hit that fastball, you'll take that get me over curve. That's not the pitch you'll strike a guy out with late in the count, but a very good pitch to get strike 1.
Outside, Pettit has induced 13 double plays this year with the ground ball. He'd like one now. Ruiz is at third, Victorino at second, and Utley is at first.
If you're a Phillies fan, this is the type of hitter you want at the plate. A guy that knows how to hit in this situation, loves to use right center field, won't pull off the ball. Tough guy to strike out.
Yeah, ideally, you're exactly right, Paul. This is a great situational hitter. He's batting third because of Rollins being out with his calf injury, but as good as any 2-hole hitter in the game the last few years.
Andy pitched against the Astros over the weekend as Cervelli will go out and talk with him. And Andy's close friend in the world and former teammate is Lance Berkman. And Lance Berkman explained after the game, he said, I love Andy Pettit. He goes, one of my closest friends. He said, but then when you face him, and he's standing on the mound with that hat pulled down over his eyes and the glove over his face, he turns into Darth Vader. He says, you don't even know who he is.
Tense.
One. Like a change, or was it backdoor?
Yeah, I think that was a changeup.
Got strike 1 with a curveball. Looks like he's looking in there. Another curveball to me, or something off speed. Polanco looks like he's trying to pull that ball.
Polanco has grounded into 5 double plays this season. That's what Andy needs right here.
Throw it again.
The 1-2. Nice block there by Cervelli. And the count 2-2.
Now, if you're going to continue to throw those breaking balls, you have to know that Polanco, especially with 2 strikes, is going to want to go to right field. So the last thing you want to do as a pitcher, easiest thing to do is hit a high breaking ball the other way. So you've got to make sure you get that breaking ball down in the zone if that's how you're going to try to put him away.
Yeah, situations like this, I would always prefer a big swinger, guy who likes to extend his arms. It's easier to get in on him.
The 2-2. Grounded to Teixeira. He's going to come home. He gets 1. And that's all they'll get. All right, let's take a look at that pitch by pitch to Polanco, brought to you by Suzuki Kizashi.
Well, he starts him off with took a little off of his slider, more of a curveball speed, fastball away, miss. And then that was a good change of getting Polanco way out in front. This slider back footed to set up this 2-seamer run away. Andy busting over to first base. Teixeira makes a nice play, throw an accurate strike to Cervelli. Not enough on it, and too close of a play for Cervelli to come back to Teixeira to maybe double up Polanco.
You know, Michael, we saw this same situation the other night, and Teixeira went to try to turn 2. Immediately, nothing, no thought process here. He went right to home plate. Saved the run.
Pitch to Howard. Big spot in this game right here. You get Howard, you go to the bottom of the 7th, you're down just 3-1. Howard gets a big hit, the whole complexion of the game changes. Victorino, Utley, and Polanco, 3rd to 1st. Howard, one of the big league's best RBI guys. Picked up an RBI in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. And last night, took an outside pitch from A.J. Burnett up and away and put it up and away over the Stanley sign. The 1-0. Time for a grand slam right there, 1-1.
Again, I think your game plan right here, Al, is you've got to get this guy out with a curveball, but you don't want to leave it over the middle of the plate. Now that you've got a strike, you've got to get that ball down off the plate away. And if you're going to use your fastball, you got to make sure you get it in his hands. You don't want anything away, because that's the ball that he can hit. We saw from A.J. Burnett last night.
Yeah, this would be a show fastball in to get him out with the salt breaking ball away. Right now, Andy and Cervelli not quite on the same page. Andy's a guy that absolutely knows what he wants to do. Great game plan.
One. Fastball fouled away. All right, so it's 1-2 out. What do you go with here? You go with the breaking ball?
Yes, and he missed with the location here, Mike. He wanted to go fastball away. Actually got lucky in the sense that he threw in on him, and he got gentle about it. Getting that big breaking ball, that 77-mile-an-hour breaking ball, going down and away, probably ended up in the dirt.
Hitter, what are you looking for, Paul?
I'm looking away. I think that he showed me that fastball in, but every time I'm facing a lefty in a big situation, I'm looking for a breaking ball out over the plate, try to drive it to left field.
He got him. Breaking ball swung on and missed by Howard, and Andy Pettit with a tough inning, does not break, does not allow a run. No run to hit, no errors, and the bases are left loaded at the end of 6.5. It is time for the 7th inning stretch. Andy Pettit is pumped up. Yankees are trailing 3-1, but will stay right here in the Bronx to honor America. Shot of the new Yankee Stadium. Let's look at the Yankees in-game box score, brought to you by McDonald's. Not many hits in there. 1 by Rodriguez, 2 by Cano drove in the Yankees' only run, and Francisco Cervelli with a single. Teixeira walked and scored the Yankees' only run. So a big-time, gutty performance by Andy Pettitte there in the 7th to not allow a run, keep it right there at 3-1. Now Kyle Kendrick will face the bottom of the Yankee order, starting with Brett Gardner. And there's a strike.
Huge strikeout, obviously, Michael. Anytime you get the runners in second scoring position and in third and be able to maneuver out of that big inning, let's see what kind of boost it is for the Yankee lineup.
One thing I have noticed over Andy Pettitte's career, always seems to get the big out, always seems to get the double play when he needs it. Big part of his success. I mean, he'll give up some hits, he'll give up some, he'll be in some jams, but he always seems to have that knack to get away from that big inning.
Verizon Wireless scoreboard 3-1 Phillies over the Yanks. And the 1-1. 1-2.
Yeah, but you know what you just described, Paul, are big game pitchers. Guys that know how to win, know how to get out of it, because every single pitcher that's ever towed the hill, you're going to have a couple, even in a good game or a great game, you're going to have a couple instances during the game where you have runners on. How do you get out of it? How do you bear down? What are the numbers batting average against runners in scoring position? How do you handle it? And you're right. He's done as good as anybody, certainly in contemporary time. And
if you see his reaction at the end of that inning, that's how you know he still loves to go out there and compete. And that is what you love to play behind it. You love to watch it from the stands. You love to see it as the manager. You just love to see guys that can still go out there and compete at this level and still enjoy being in that situation and getting out. You see, this is a big-time slider. Set this ball up as a strikeout pitch the whole at bat. Ryan Howard swings through it. And you see that?
Made the pitch, got out of it. Such a good feeling.
Rounded foul. Now the Yankees have to get some runs to either. I think Andy might be done. I don't know if they'll have him come out and pitch the 8th. They can either get him a win or at least get him off the hook for a loss.
If you look at, Kendrick is pretty much in uncharted waters. He's only gone 7 innings 4 times this year out of his 12 starts. So if you're Charlie Manuel, you're probably sitting over there with your fingers crossed, hoping that this is one of those days where he can hold the lead and get past this.
Looking at his games this year, Paul, like what you just said, it's really been either really good or not good. He's not really in between. It's 7 innings, no runs. Next game, 6 innings, 5 runs. Next game, 8 innings, 2 runs. Next game's 4 innings, 5 runs.
Line drive caught by Howard.
I tell you, as an offense, sometimes you just wonder, you battle, you have a great at bat. Kendrick stayed in this whole at bat. You finally turn on one, hit it hard. Some nights they just go at it.
Well, sometimes you put the ball over the plate. In that sense, Gardner did everything that he wanted to do. Just hit it right at Howard.
Chad Durbin getting ready. Here is Cervelli. Inside, 1-0.
There's something about Cervelli. You understand when you see a catcher, giving signals with fingernail polish on, but there's something about seeing a guy holding a bat with fingernail polish on it. It's kind of weird. Does that seem strange to you, Michael?
Very odd.
Yeah.
You ever get manicures, Paul?
No.
Never, ever?
No. Is that one of your things, Michael?
That's not one of my things. I've had one every now and then.
But you got to admit that looks a little strange.
Well, I would never get polished, no. You have manicures, right?
No, never.
Never.
Never, ever.
Even when you were the blister king, you didn't do
weird look
really?
right there, boys.
I bite my nails too much.
Not much of a manicure. You get half price for that, right?
Good breaking ball, 2-2.
Good ball strike ratio. Almost 2-1.
Just the 5th time this year Kendrick has thrown 100 or more pitches. 2-2. Fouled away.
Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, charting every pitch goes, or will go over it the next day, or maybe the side day. Pitching coaches like to chart.
It used to be the pitcher's job, right, Al?
Yeah, more and more pitching coaches are doing. They did that for the pitcher just to pay attention to the game more than anything else. Nobody really looked at it.
The 2-2. Oh, little twitch there by Tom Hallion.
When you get a little jump from that home plate umpire, you get a little jump from the hitter because you think you're on your way to the dugout. So Tom Hallion think,
He flinched.
A little low.
Three-two. Boy, they're putting good bats together against Kendrick this inning.
We talked about it last night, Michael, that their true bridge, their true guide to the setup man has a broken toe, so you kind of have to manage a little bit different.
That one's drilled deep to left field. Fair ball, it's gone. It is foul. Ed Rapuano, the third base umpire, emphatically pointed foul.
Again, there's no worse way to break a hitter's heart that you get good wood on it. You know it's hooking it. It just won't hook around that foul pole. Ball clearly foul.
Would have been his first home run of the year. Hot shot, backhanded by Polanco. The long throw got him. Well, Gardner and Cervelli have great at bats, hit the ball very well, nothing to show for it.
Again, we talk about Polanco, the things he does on the field to help a team win. Knows who's running. Good strong throw.
Yeah, for a guy who's been a second baseman most of his big league career.
It's going to look easy, and yes, Mo, but believe me, that ball going down the line kind of got a hot back out over his head.
That was a 9-pitch at bat for Cervelli, and here is Pena. Now, as for Polanco, made that great play on the tarp, and now that one. He led the American League in fielding percentage at second base last year. Now he leads the National League in fielding percentage at third base this year. Now, during the expansion era, only 4 players have qualified to be fielding leaders at third base after qualifying at second the previous year. Don Buford, Lenny Randall, Phil Garner, and Edgardo Alfonso.
You knew that Alfonso guy, didn't you?
Yeah, he was a heck of a player.
Good hitter.
Yeah.
That's Kendrick trying to steer it foul. That's Posada trying to steer it fair. There's a strike. And the pitch. Grounded to second. A tough inning for Kendrick, but he retires the Yankees in order 1-2-3. Pretty good 7 innings for Kyle Kendrick. Phillies lead the Yankees 3-1 as we go to the 8th. Toyota, the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. Let's take a look at the in-game box score for the Philadelphia Phillies, brought to you by McDonald's. 2 hits for Shane Victorino, 2 ribbies, and 2 runs scored, and a home run. The other run driven in by Ryan Howard. A double for Carlos Ruiz. Polanco with a hit as well. Sack bunt by Valdez. So Andy Pettitte pitched well, but Kyle Kendrick has pitched better. There's a great look at the greatest city in the world, New York City. It's time for the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. Andy Pettitte's night is over, and David Robertson's has begun. And he will face Jason Worth. So Andy can only lose this game. He cannot win it. Pitch outside. Now the question is, Brad Lidge, who threw a lot of pitches in the 9th inning last night, could he try to close again tonight? David Robertson, 27 hits and 23 strikeouts in 20 and a third innings.
I think he was right around 30-plus pitches. Jose Contreras says their setup guy's done a nice job for the Phillies. I would think so. He came in with a 4-run lead, non-save situation yesterday. Did have a rough inning, but I got to believe if you're close, you want to be in this one.
There's a strike. Kyle Kendrick is done. Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, gives him the "you're done" handshake. Then the rest of the starters. Thompson comes over. Good job by the youngster, who's been pitching very well of late. The 2-1. High fly ball right field. Nick Swisher makes the play. 1 down. 3-6-0 for the Phils. 1-4-1 for the Yanks.
Yeah, back-to-back nights where the Yankees offense just, you've hit some balls hard, you've battled at the plate, but all of a sudden, you're not putting up runs like you were before, so you just wonder if it's kind of a funk offensively you're going in, or if the pitching has been that good the past couple nights.
Pitch to Ibanez, a strike on the outside corner.
Well, Jamie Moyer definitely baffled him, but the Yankee lineup's too good to 3 hits in 8 innings yesterday. Now today, through 4 hits. I thought yesterday, especially when the Yanks went down with the 6 runs, that a guy like Moyer was easily able to expand. As good as the Yankees are, it was 6-1 after the 3rd inning. Played off the aggressiveness. I just think Kendrick just really had a good game plan. Good changeup, used his cutter enough in on the lefties.
Count 2-1 on Ibanez. Ibanez was 0 for 3. He's glad to see Andy out of there with 2 strikeouts. The pitch. 3-1. Ben Francisco on deck. Now 3-2.
One guy in this lineup that if you're a Philadelphia fan, you really feel like you need to get going is Raul Ibanez. Like I said, Worth is starting to take some better swings. Rollins is going to be back soon. Polanco does a good job. Howard's going to hit his home runs. Ibanez, to me, just looks a little lost up there right now.
Knocked the mask off of Cervelli.
Again, this is a pretty good pitch, especially with 2 strikes as a left-handed hitter. And you just see that weight. It's not going into the baseball. It's kind of coming off. Doesn't give you much to go with it. You're hitting with all your hands. Milt Thompson's probably told him the same thing. I mean, get back to what you used to do when you were a young hitter. Use all parts of the field.
We had it issue with a hernia kind of problem last year. Ibanez did, but his first half was something else. And then it just fell off. As last year he was 22 home runs, 60 RBIs, and then since then just hasn't been the same.
Ripped it to left field, deep. Gardner back. Makes the play on the warning track. Gardner's been playing a very good left field. Tonight and throughout the Yankees season on Yes, we're asking you to vote along with us for the Chevy Player of the Game. You can text your vote to 58772, or you can vote online at yesnetwork.com. Tonight's candidates are number 1, Kyle Kendrick, number 2, Shane Victorino, number 3, Ryan Howard, number 4, Andy Pettit. Vote now. Make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates will apply.
You talk about Gardner, and he is a good defensive player. I mean, he's a true center fielder, but I still think a great decision on Joe Girardi's part. It was talked about, are you going to play Granderson in left, or are we going to play him in center? You bring over a high guy from another organization, keep him in his position, make him feel like he's the guy that you wanted to play there. And Gardner's adjusted well to moving over to left field at times.
And Granderson's done a nice job in the center. There was some doubt last year about his ability to track balls over his head. He had some difficulty in the last month, but it turned out that it was simply a fielder slump. He's done a nice job out there.
And he had something with his eyes, too, Michael, didn't he?
They did check out his eyes, and they made a slight adjustment and wearing contacts. But he didn't think that was the problem. One-two count on Francisco, who is 0 for 3. Robertson got that one up to 94 miles an hour.
Well, you've seen a lot of movement from Andy Pettit and from Kendrick. Then all of a sudden you see Robertson in the game, and you see that fastball. It straightens out, good velocity, but a straight fastball, a ball that you need to locate because that ball does not have a lot of movement on it.
I'd like to see him get back to that power curveball. He's been pitching better of late. Robertson, over his last 4 appearances, hasn't given up a run. There it is. We saw last night, even though the Yankees were at a deficit, Boone Logan came in, did a great job. Chad Godin came in through 4 2/3 innings of no-hit baseball.
Crowd of 47,204 here at the stadium. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Got him. There's that breaking ball. So Robertson works a 1-2-3 inning. Yankee pitchers have done their job. Now the offense will try against Jose Contreras. Blast.
Inside cutter from Andy Pettit. This was Victor in his 11th home run. It was 1-0 at the time. Good pitch in, pulled his hands in, ended up getting a 2-run homer out of it, making the difference here at 3-1.
Victorino's had some big hits in this series. You know, he cleared the bases yesterday with a triple. A 2-run homer tonight. Fought off a cutter earlier in the game to shoot it to right field.
Well, now the Yankees will face an old friend, Jose Contreras. Look at the numbers. He did a good job filling in for the injured Brad Lidge, picking up 3 saves. He has 27 strikeouts in 20 and 2/3 innings, a 1.31 ERA. Now he's setting Lidge up. Jeter, Granderson, Teixeira. 21 of Contreras' 24 appearances have been scoreless. It's so odd. When you talk to people about Contreras, they go, he's either great or he's hittable. There are some days he could have a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Other times it's 89, 90. There's no explanation. Jeter has hit him in his career, 7 for 22.
When he sets up to throw that split finger to every pitch as a hitter, you wonder if he's just trying to trick you. There's 94 there, so obviously he went to the fastball grip there. But, you know, as a pitcher, it's very hard to get to that split finger grip. So you start with it, and then you see he switched to the 2-seamer, the 4-seamer there.
Yeah, without telegraphing, a lot of split finger pitchers like Contreras will hold it as he is right there, because it's easier to go from that to your fastball as opposed to the opposite. You telegraph it by flaring the glove.
When he was a Yankee, he would sit in the dugout between starts and hold the split finger grip on a softball. So then when he had a baseball in his hand, it would seem easy. He's got big fingers, obviously. He just jams the ball right between those two. Fights it the other way, and it is a foul ball. Against the Yankees in his career, Contreras 2 for 6, 5.03. That's in 8 starts. After the Yankees, he actually went to the White Sox and helped them win a championship.
You know, I just always liked his stuff. I think he tried too hard here as a Yankee. I think it was very easy for him to go to Chicago and become a better pitcher. El Duque was there for a while to help him, and you know, he always had the stuff to become a good pitcher. You've seen the last 2 pitches, 97 and 95.
I mean, he's found a home in the pen. He didn't start most of his career, but when he went from the White Sox, didn't do all that great, to Colorado, he was lights out.
The 1-2. Now, Contreras was signed after leaving Cuba, and there was a bidding war for him between the Yankees and the Red Sox. And the Red Sox really, really dearly wanted Contreras, but he decided to sign with the Yankees, and that was what spurred on the term, which at the time was supposedly a negative, pejorative term of calling the Yankees the evil empire, which now has become sort of a badge of honor. But it was Red Sox executive Larry Lucchino who said, well, the evil empire wins again. And I don't know if the stories are apocryphal, but the Red Sox supposedly bought out all the hotel rooms where Contreras and his agents were staying, so the Yankees couldn't be close to him when the bidding was going on. And again, never proven, but Theo Epstein, the GM, allegedly threw a chair through a window when he heard the Yankees had signed Contreras. Swing and a miss, 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
You know, he set up to throw that split finger the whole count. You saw a couple sliders, and those were the pitches that Cheat got to hit. But right here, went back to the hard stuff. And believe me, most hitters know about that split finger. From the pen, I mean, he can be dominating with that fastball.
Well, 94 is pretty tough to catch up. He sprinkled, as you'd said, Paul, enough sliders, and mostly his split is to the left-hander. Let's see how he approaches Granderson.
Foul tip, strike 1. So Jeter 0 for 4 tonight with 2 strikeouts. Count 0-2.
First split finger I think we've seen. The slider?
Yeah. Pretty good history here. Granderson 12 for 46, 261 batting average, 1 home run.
The 0-2. Grounded up the middle. Oh, what a play by Contreras. Behind his back. Look what I found. 2 away.
Like I said earlier, sometimes as hitters you battle, you do everything you can, and it's just some nights they just don't fall in. This is just a reaction. Chances of this going in your glove, I don't know.
Look what I found. You said it. Wow.
Halladay liked what he saw. Pretty amazing play by Contreras, but most of it just sheer luck. Here's Mark Teixeira, who was 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Scored the Yankees' only run. Foul back.
You've definitely seen a different pitcher out of the pen now. I mean, a guy that used to use that split finger sometimes, in my mind, too much, as good a fastball as he had. And coming out of the pen, you're seeing going right at hitters with hard stuff.
2003 with the Yankees, Contreras 7-2, 3.30. In 04, he was 8-5, 5.64 before he was traded. There's a strike. Phillies lead, bottom of the 8th. The 0-2 outside.
There's that split finger, and you see the movement of that. A lot of times it'll go down or go away. And you see the fingers split there, and you get this really unknown movement. It's almost like a hard knuckleball. That makes it tough as a hitter, as it slips out of their hands, so you get the same arm speed.
That may have been it there, down. Get the hand on top through the pitch. Now, a lot of guys will throw a split finger. This is a true forkball. Wedge it in there. Look at the lack of rotation.
Can you pick up that rotation right away, Paul?
Not right away. It's because it comes out of it. The arm speed on it is so tough, and you talked about the size of his hands. You can't throw that true forkball unless you have those kind of oversized hands.
Other split fingers, Al, they don't jam the ball between the fingers, just spread the fingers.
Spread the finger. David Cohn, I thought, did as good as anybody. Changing the speeds of the fastball, make it look like a two-seamer.
3-2. Grounded softly to second. Charging is Utley, and he makes the play. And Contreras works a 1-2-3-8. Yankee offense dormant for the last couple of nights. We go to the ninth, 3-1 Phils. Favorite New York Yankees to this year's All-Star game by voting up to 25 times at Yankees.com. Visit Yankees.com and cast your ballot now for your 2010 All-Stars. Vote early and vote often. Vote today at Yankees.com. Well, we go to the 9th inning, and the Yankees will turn it over to Jabba Chamberlain. David Robertson pitched the 1-2-3 8th. Now Jabba will pitch the 9th. This will be his 30th game. Giving up about a hit per inning and more than a strikeout per inning. His ERA coming down now at 4.76. And he has assumed the role of the setup man for Mariano Rivera. Carlos Ruiz will lead off, then Valdez, and then Victorino. So 8-9-1 as the Yankees try to hold it right here at 3-1.
Let's see, Mike, we've broken 0 for 25 tonight?
0 for 23.
23. Always a dangerous hitter. As soon as you come out of that slump, because you get that little shot, that little adrenaline thing, that I'm out of it, and all of a sudden, you see guys start to have really good at-bats. Got that monkey off your bat of getting that hit.
Driven deep to right field. Swisher back, looking up, and it's off the wall. Ruiz going for 2. The throw, not in time. So 0 for 23 has turned into 2 for 2.
There it is. You called it, Paul.
Hey, I've been there before. Those 0 for 20s, and all of a sudden you get that hit, and you're like, how did I ever go that line? You just start feeling comfortable up there.
To the game's mental.
Oh, slightly, huh? A little too much at times, don't you think?
Will Thompson liking that. The hitting coach for the Phils.
A lot of notes over there. Bill Thompson, I saw him in the cage before the game, working with guys. Looks like a guy that just really enjoys what he does. How much you can relax when you guys start hitting the ball. Throw a couple seeds in.
True. These hitting coaches and pitching coaches, they live and die by their, obviously, what their guys are doing.
Yankees expecting a bunt. The wheel play on, and he swings and hits it right through the vacated hole. And a run for the Phillies. We talk about what could go wrong on the wheel play. That's what goes wrong with the wheel play. 4-1 Phillies.
Is it, Michael, I know we talked about it in the previous time when he was up, but it looked like he would watch him do a little butcher boy earlier and then ends up pulling back. So I think Jeter just got caught in where thinking that it was a bunt play. He's going to go with the wheel play, but he never really showed bunt other than a quick little kind of put his bat down and then never really showed it.
That's a big run. Trying to play catch up and a huge run. Gardner was charging hard and actually slipped, kicking up some of that turf. I think he looked at the turf because that's some of where it was chewed up because of the boxing match that was here. And that's why he looked back at the turf. It just gave out from under his spikes. There's a strike. And you can see where the boxing ring was laid down for Cotto against Foreman. So a big insurance run for the Phillies. And an 0-1 count on Victorino. 1-1.
Here's the difference. We saw some lesser teams come in here, and the Yankees, took care of them. And all of a sudden, you've got a team that's not playing well, but it's a World Series team of last year, and all of a sudden, you can see how they could compete against better teams. I mean, the guys start stepping up a little bit. I mean, this has been a well-pitched game, pretty good series altogether. But you see that these two teams kind of stand out as better than the rest.
Well, you called it on Carlos Ruiz after breaking that streak of no hits, but yesterday I thought was really kind of a turning point for the team as a whole. Phillies getting 6 runs.
Count 2-1.
Right here is, you're the Phillies, a bad time to put somebody into motion, trying to run some people. Victorino can handle the bat a little bit and put some more pressure. There he goes.
Throw to second. Not in time. Cervelli can't believe it, but Valdez steals second.
Again, a lot easier to do things when you have a lead. These are some things that Charlie couldn't do. You know what I'm talking about. You see that? You're going to have to get another ankle.
Guess he never tagged him. Oh, I think he did. He was out. (3-1). Rounded foul. This is on Yesmo.
And
he's out.
It's a good position, too. Lance Barksdale.
Cervelli thought he definitely had him.
You get into a situation, Victorino, very easy bat for a lefty to try to hook the ball, pull the ball, get the guy over, add another run. This little one-run tack-on is going to really become important, and it just takes a lot of momentum away from the Yankees and makes that comeback in the ninth that much tougher.
Really putting together good at-bats here against Java.
As you mentioned, Paul, to negate that, obviously as a pitcher, Victorino thinking of even a productive out, it'd be a hard ground ball on the right side, you move up the runner. As a pitcher, obviously you're thinking along that line. At some point in your bat, you think about going away, really making work for it to have to pull the ball.
3-2, and he walked it. So a rough inning up to this point by Java. 1 run in, runners on first and second, nobody out. And after the final out of this series, with the Phillies join Bob Lorenz, John Flaherty, Jack Curry, and Kimberly Jones for the WB Mason postgame show. Get highlights from this entire series, plus hear the players' postgame quotes from the clubhouse. It's the WB Mason postgame coming up only on Yes. Well, Java Chamberlain getting booed by an impatient crowd as Joe Girardi will go to the bullpen. Going to bring in the left-hander Marte to face Utley. Stay right here. and threatening here in the top of the ninth. 1 run already in, first and second, nobody out. Utley at the plate against the new Yankee pitcher, Damaso Marte. Inside, Marte's last 9 games, 4 1/3 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, no runs. Specialty, 23 games, just 11 2/3 innings. There's a strike.
Well, with what Boone Logan showed yesterday, if they can get 2 left-handers coming out, you mentioned, Michael, you got Marte, Specialty, get a couple key left-handers out. It's always good to have a couple bullets down there to choose when you want to bring in certain matchups for left-handers.
Chase Utley, a good hitter, and especially in an account where he can guess pretty much what's coming. Marte has put himself in a position with a man on first and second. You're falling behind, you know, you get in a fastball count and you've got a group of fastball. This is a guy that can do a lot with it. Oh.
Did a great job, Marte did in the World Series against the lefty batters. He held Utley hitless in 2 at-bats, struck him out twice. Howard 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts.
I'll tell you what, that last pitch could have changed this at bat. It was easily a 3-1 or 2-2. A very borderline pitch away. Marte got the call.
Didn't get that call, so the count now 3-2.
See Utley, they almost duck into that pitch. Picked up breaking ball at it.
I always thought as a pitcher, if that was the pitch you thought you could get him out, or you want to get him out on, to lock him up, or get him swing and miss, throw it 2-2, throw it 3-2. If you feel good about it on 2-2, throw the same pitch on 3-2. Just leaving it up out over the plate, a little too much of the plate.
Chano Park pitched in the first game. Way inside, all the way to the backstop, and the bases are loaded.
It blew a hole in the backstop. I don't know if you saw that. That ball went right through the side. Look at that.
Wow.
It's right out of Bull Durham, isn't it?
Except that was a bit outside. This is a bit hot.
Oh, wow.
It's hitting Hellion.
You see the fans back there jumping. Once in a while as a pitcher, I guess they get away from you, huh?
Now they're going to check out if anything's wrong with Marte. Gene Monahan's out there.
Last thing you want as a Yankee fan, it seems like it's every day somebody. Mitre just went down with.
So now, to me, this is not just because he threw a ball to the backstop, but there must be something nagging, or nothing really in these few pitches showed that there was something wrong with his arm, or something wrong physically.
Well, the Yankees are in a spot here that they can't afford to let more runs come in. They're down 4-1. You've got Valdez at third, Victorino at second, and Utley is at first. And then the dangerous Polanco at the plate. The Yankees have to bring the infield in. Breaking ball strike.
Good breaking ball, but you've dug yourself such a big hole here. Now with bases loaded, Polanco's going to put the ball in play. You've got Howard on deck. And a couple more runs, probably put this game out of reach.
The 1-0. 1-1. Howard on deck. Marte not particularly good when the opposition has the bases loaded. Opponents at 368 against him.
Doesn't help, obviously, with the infield in. Guy Polanco handle the bat.
High fly ball down the left field line, but hooked foul.
Different pitcher with bases loaded here. Not wasting a ball in the dirt. Not trying to get that strikeout in the dirt with men on third base.
You know what, Paul? I never thought that, especially on a breaking ball. If you're not thinking about your best breaking ball, which is usually down, you could get hit.
1-2 is upstairs.
I mean, you're mindful of not throwing a 58-footer, but you got to bury it. Yeah, you may be a little bit more reluctant if you have a big sweeping curveball or something that's really got a lot of plate coverage down.
And now no place to put Polanco with a 3-2 count. Phillies lead. Well, the count is wrong. The umpire is saying 2-2 has been wrong on the board, so now it's 2-2. It is not 3-2, so we stand corrected. Sorry. And the pitch. Now it's 3-2. Runners lead from all three. Nobody out. And the pitch. Just got a piece to stay alive.
Again, you go back to Polanco's strength, and that's the ability to not strike out, continually put the ball in play. Tough pitch right there, but foul it off, hope for a better pitch.
You know, for a guy who doesn't strike out a whole lot, 23 strikeouts in the 225 at bats, only 11 walks coming into tonight's games.
3-2. Still 3-2. Big pitch. Marte gets the sign and sets the pitch. Driven out down the right field line, but it keeps slicing. Foul.
This is what makes Polanco such a tough out. Instead of not a whole lot of strikeouts, puts the ball in play too. 11 walks is not that much for a guy with a good eye. I always thought, especially in a game where, in the case here, the Phillies up by 3 runs late in the game, that there's guys that want to drive runs in. Certainly a walk, he'll get an RBI. You don't have to put the ball right down the middle, something close. Aggressive hitters like to swing.
Did you like the break right there? It's 3-2. You've thrown a couple things. Catcher comes out, gives you a break. It kind of takes you out of the rhythm of throwing strikes.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
3-2. Driven out to center field. That's going to get a run in. Granderson makes the catch, tagging Valdez. He'll score. Moving to third is Victorino. So a sac fly for Polanco. Now it's 5-1. Phillies lead the Yanks. So a good at bat for Polanco. These great shots provided by DirecTV. Get every Major League Baseball game and the most in HD. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Great aerial coverage. So now 5-1 with runners on first and third and Howard at the plate. Howard tonight 1 for 4. And Marte does not have great command today at all. And the count now 1-0.
And the last thing you want to do here is get in a sure fastball count against Ryan Howard. That's what he feasts on. A very, very dangerous pitch here. If you fall down 2-0, then you're in that automatic fastball count. He tied him up there. I think Ryan Howard expecting the ball in. And that's not his usual swing.
Yeah, good spot. You mentioned, Michael, the command of Marte, obviously spraying the ball all over the place, missing way high, and where he's setting up away, comes way inside. See, I don't know how you felt, but guys in outings like this, Marte, where you're missing by 2 or 3 feet, and then nail a perfect slider down the way.
Very tough to lock in on guys who are just uncomfortably wild around the strike zone. Good pitch there.
1-2. Fly ball, right field. Swisher makes the play. Here's the throw home. No play as it's cut off by Teixeira. Sac fly for Howard. Victorino scores, and now it's 6-1 Philadelphia.
One of the few at-bats I saw Howard really adjust to the situation. I mean, he's been pulling off that slider. Now he gets into the two-strike thing where all he needs is a fly ball, and he really stays on that ball. Well, this is a slider away. Stays on it enough. Doesn't come off of it to get the job done. Good at-bat by Ryan Howard.
So here is Jason Worth. There's a strike. So Jabba Chamberlain faced 3 batters and all 3 scored. Now, he was on the unfortunate end of a bad call at second base on a stolen base by Valdez. But the double, the single, the walk, and his night is done. His ERA is higher. Fouled away.
Every once in a while, you see a guy take a cut that you know he just missed it. Worse feeling for the ball off such a good at bats off Pettit. You see this ball just up enough, right on it.
Cervelli's moving all over place to try to snare some of the throws by Marte. Runner goes. Pitch is inside, a stolen base for Utley. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner at second. Yankees down 6-1. The pitch. Grounded foul.
Well, he's thrown pretty much everything he has to worth of this at bat. High fastballs. There's a curveball in.
Yeah, but Marte, for me, you know, he's got a little bit of the slider's a sweepy slider. If he could get a little more tilt, he's very left to right, kind of a rotational delivery. And anytime a pitcher gets that way, you could get flat with your pitches, meaning the ball doesn't have the same depth or bite to it.
And the pitch. 3-2. Payoff. Out of the way.
So even like that, Paul, he's throwing fastballs. Obviously, command's way off, but that slider's good velocity for a slider, but it's just kind of rolling on the same plane. It's easier for a hitter to be able to get the barrel to it. In that case, Worth not being able to keep his hands inside of it.
A lot of pitches for Marte. And who will they have for the Mets tomorrow? Boone Logan pitched 2 2/3 yesterday. Marte be up around 30 today. The pitch. And he walked him. And Joe Girardi's going to bring in the right-hander as Marte's day is done. Yankees trail 6-1. In part by The Karate Kid, starring Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan, now playing by Panasonic Viera with 3D This Lifelike. Can we still call it a TV? And by Acura Advance. Now, something was up with Marte. He had no command. They came out when he threw that wild pitch. And now with a lefty due up who has trouble against lefties, Raul Ibanez, they take him out because he's up to 29 pitches to bring in Chan-Ho Park. And you just wonder what's up with Marte.
Well, I mean, you just said it, Michael. 29 pitches off seriously. I mean, I threw a ball way back to the backstop and not even close. But he just kind of looked lethargic. Just, I don't know. Obviously, you get your feelings hurt when you don't do your job.
6-1 Phillies lead.
That's the danger of bringing Job in, and then you go to the matchup of the lefties, and if Marte does not get it done, then you're making a lot of pitching changes. You're burning a lot of arms in that 8th inning.
And pitches. That's it. Not only the arms, as Marte going to 29 pitches.
There's a line drive, base hit down the right field line. Utley will score. Worth goes to third. He'll stop right there. It's a double for Ibanez. And the Phillies are pouring it on. They lead the Yankees 7-1.
Little changeup up in the zone. Ibanez getting the barrel of the bat to the ball. Good pitch for any good major league hitter. Little floating changeup. Swisher just throwing it in the Cano, easily scoring the run.
Well, the Phillies have batted around. Ben Francisco, the 9th pitch batter to come to the plate. This half inning started at 9:45. So they've been up for close to a half hour. 27 minutes so far.
Usually when you're up that long, you do score a few runs, right?
Well, 4 so far, and runners on second and third with 2 outs. He checked his swing, said Wally Bell. Tomorrow night, Subway Series begins. Yankees against the Mets. Tampa Bay lost to Atlanta, so the Yankees will be in first place, no matter how this turns out. Hot shot to short, and it hit the base runner, I think. But they're continuing to play, so they hit the base runner. He's out. Jeter's jogging out the field. Everybody else is standing around.
No umpire made a call
I don't
yet.
know if the umpires have called it yet.
They have not.
And Joe Girardi's going, what's going on? He runs out of the dugout. That clearly hit the base runner, Raul Ibanez. How do you not see that? And right there, you can see a redirect away from Jeter. So Jeter knew right away that it hit the base runner.
Well, the second base umpire, you see Lance Barksdale looking at the play. I could see the responsibility with runners on base. The umpires have different views or areas in which they look. Derek obviously saw it.
Well, the umpires they can't go to replay on this. They can only go to replay for foul balls for home runs. So this is not a replayable situation, which it's kind of ridiculous because you could tell from the replay that it hit him. But Joe Girardi is going to bust the gasket if they allow this to be a base hit.
Well, but interesting, because of the way the Yankees reacted, a few of the Phillies, there wasn't a response to the umpires. You just keep running. That would be an inside the park home run.
Yeah, usually it's an immediate umpire's hands in the air, hits the runner. It looks like it just kind of ricocheted off the blousing of his pants. It didn't hit him squarely, and I think that's the problem with the umpire.
I don't think they saw it.
They're saying he's out. Now Charlie Manuel is going to go nuts. So the putout goes to Jeter, a base hit for Ben Francisco, but the out is made when it hits Raul Ibanez crossing in front of Derek Jeter. But the damage has been done. 4 runs in. It's all Phillies as we go to the bottom of the 9th. Land Rover. Paul?
Shane Victorino's had some good at-bats. This one came in the 5th inning. Pretty good pitch from Andy Pettit, kind of a cutter, but he pulled his hands in, drove it out of the ballpark. 2-run homer. Land Rover. Drive it again, Mike.
You guys got to help me on this. The ball hits Ibanez. The umpires stand there and talk for what, 2 minutes?
Yep.
Now, either you saw it or you didn't. So if one of the umpires said, yeah, it hit him, it would be about a 3-second conversation. Right. So how was that decision made, Al? Was it made, well, Derek must be telling the truth?
You know, we talked about it between innings. And Charlie Manuel has a legitimate gripe. What you said exactly would have transpired. One of the umpires come up and say, hey, I saw it, it hit him, he's out. But for them to consult for a couple minutes,
wow.
I don't know what the ruling would be.
Let's believe Derek. He doesn't lie. That's pretty much it. Derek's a good guy. He's not going to lie. I think it had to hit him.
And we do not have yes, slow-mo. Yes, Mo.
Alex Rodriguez with a high fly ball to center field. Victorino drifts back for the first out. Well, they leave in Jose Contreras for the 2nd inning after the Phillies put that 4 spot on the board in the 9th. J.C. Romero is ready as Charlie Manuel now decides to play switch. And he will bring in the left-hander to face Robinson Cano. So Contreras faced 4 batters. He got all 4. Romero against Cano when we get back. So J.C. Romero comes on to face Robinson Cano. 7-1 game. So he brings in the lefty to match up against the lefty swinging Cano. Maybe they just want the satisfaction of getting him out before they leave town.
Better, you know, you don't want to burn Contreras for tomorrow. They're going on to the, I think they're going home for a series, but, you know, pitching changes do become frustrating when you're sitting on the bench waiting to hit and they just keep making pitching changes.
Right in the kitchen of Cano, and the Yankees are down to their final out.
Tough at bat. Now, I remember facing Romero the same time, just almost the same time that Santana got called up to the Twins. And I'll tell you what, at that time when they both came up together, this guy had just as good a stuff as Santana did.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he was tough. Both of them, you know, young guys came and you'd see them in the middle of the game, and they had a lot of likeness. Both of them threw hard Obviously, Santana owned a little better changeup, but out of the bullpen, and both those guys came out and threw hard and did good stuff.
Here's Nick Swisher. Last chance for the Yankees. Pitch inside. And the 1-0. Well, this should do it. Popped up in the infield. Utley is there. And the Phillies take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. And it's just the second series the Yankees have lost at home this year. They lose this game 7-1. Now stick around for the post-game show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game. Just a reminder, the Phillies found something they liked here in the Bronx. The Phillies had scored 3 runs or less in 17 of 21 games entering last night. But in the last 2 games, they scored 13 runs, and they took both games. So the Yankees lose this series. The awards are next, and we have the post game coming up after that.